out of apartment 5B.
You're now tuned into the Apartment 5B podcast, where we chop it up about hip-hop, R&B, sports, love and life. Hosted by Kill.
What's good? You are tuned in to Apartment 5E podcast hosted by your man Kill. You see squads in effect tonight as always. We starting with little sis Porsche. What's going on, miss?
Not a whole lot, Kill. All is well. Good to see Ev here. It's been a while.
Yeah. Ev is in the building. Ev, the OG, is in the building.
The OG, that's right.
Bro, Philadelphia, 6-3-0 with James Harden. We looking good. We looking great. We feeling good. We feeling great. What's good with you, bro?
Yeah, it's looking good, and everybody online hating, but you know what I mean, we can't have nice things.
I tell you this, bro. Ben Simmons is now Brooklyn's problem, and I love to see it. Here's the thing, before we even get started, one of my people said to me, was like, yo, why you pay so much for them tickets on the 10th? You really thought Ben Simmons was going to play? And I really honestly did, because that would have been enough time for the mental health bullshit to go by. Mm-hmm. Plus, he would have been like, yo, I got Kyrie and KD with me. So I'm like, I didn't know he was so much of a bitch ass nigga to now make up back problems too. Like, you done made up a whole new ailment to continue to keep you out. And it's just like, I knew he was a bitch ass. I didn't just know he was that much of a bitch ass that you're just going to keep making excuses to not play. But you know what? That's Brooklyn's problem now. But I told somebody earlier, they was like, yo, when you going to let the boy live? Never. I'm never going to let the nigga live. For the simple fact, he could have simply said, and I need to do PR, because these niggas get paid millions of dollars and do horrible PR. If I'm Rich Paul, I'm like, bro, you got to take out an ad in the paper. You got to apologize to the city. In fact, nigga, do a video. If he would have done a video like, look, y'all, Philly, y'all had my back. I let y'all down. I apologize. Woo. Yo, I'm donating $500,000 to the Boys and Girls Club. We gonna fix up some basketball courts. Woo. I would have been like, yo, that's love. That's love. Go do your thing elsewhere. But the fact that nigga just left and ain't say shit, and now nut ass Seth Curry talking about he don't owe us an apology. He a nut ass now too for saying some dumb shit. I get you gotta have your man's back. You just talking too much, nigga. You talking too much now. You know goddamn well he owes an apology, and that's my problem. I told people, Markelle Fultz, I wish him nothing but the best. Wish him nothing but the best. But for Ben, I want that nigga to fucking be back in Australia walking fucking kangaroos. Like, that's what I want that nigga to be fucking doing. Fuck walking dogs. I want that nigga to be walking kangaroos and fucking koala bears for a fucking living. Okay? And I wish nothing but that for him. So that's that. That's what I wish for that nigga. Anyway, freestyles. Yo, dead ass, man. I want that nigga with a koala in one fucking hand, looking like a fucking pregnant mother, and two kangaroos on a leash like this, trying to make ends meet. Because that nigga wanted to do Philly like that. Nut ass nigga, boy. I mean, dog, you that much of a nut ass nigga, dog. That's why I thought you gonna get some balls. You gonna grow some type of balls, because you got Kevin Durant and Kyrie. To me, that would be like my fuck you, Philly. Like, yo, I'm on this squad, bro. We gonna kill y'all. And you still shook? You are the yellow back nigga that P was talking about on Shook Ones. You are literally the yellow back nigga. The yellow back nigga that P was talking about on Shook Ones. You look that shit up on Genius, it's gonna be a fucking picture of Ben Simmons. When you click on, you know how you click on shit on Genius and it'll break down, it's just gonna be a picture of Ben Simmons, a yellow back nigga. That's what Ben Simmons is. Yo, here's the thing, bro. Richard Jefferson said this, stay petty so you don't have to get petty. Okay? If I was Doc Rivers and my man Clarence said this, I would foul Ben Simmons the second he stepped on the fucking floor. Just to put him at the free throw line. Just to fuck with him. Fuck a hack and shack at the end of the quarter, nigga. As soon as the game starts, nigga. I'm gonna find some nigga at the end of the bench just to foul out. They gonna be like, yo, why the fuck is Bobo starting? You about to find out because Bobo gonna foul the fuck out. He gonna foul out.
I'm going John Chaney.
Yeah.
Yes, the goons.
Get in here and
The goons.
There you go.
The goons.
There you go. The Goon Squad. The Goon Squad. So that's my spill on Ben Simmons. Fuck that nigga. Eddie, what's good with you, bro?
Yo, man, I'm good, man. And for y'all, man, listen, man. Kill been on this energy with Ben Simmons for years now. Like,
Years.
Kill was the first. Even when Ben Simmons was an all-star, Kill was like, nah, man, he needs to work on his shot. Every time we see videos of him shooting threes, he never takes one in the game. And everyone finally caught up. But yeah, man, I'm good, man.
That's what's up. That's what's up. My brother, Ev, the OG, the originator, where all these podcasts, Writers Bench, 5B started from, me and his conversations that would last for 3 hours on the phone in the middle of the fucking day. That's why I couldn't get no promotion back in the day, because I was fucking talking to this nigga all day. What's going on, good brother?
I'm well, brother. I'm well. Again, thank y'all for having me in the house.
Stop with that. Thank you for having us shit, man.
I'll be on the other side, man, and that's just the time frame is always kind of tough. But I want to get this one, and I got to get that Monday night thing too.
Yeah, the spaces. Yeah.
What's cool?
No doubt. And DJ Rec 1, what's going on, good brother?
I'm good, man. I'm just loving the intro, and I'm excited for today's topic, man.
Yeah, man. Fuck Ben Simmons. That's today's topic. Fuck that nigga. And you know that song, How Many Ways by Tony Braxton? Like, how many ways can I say fuck you to Ben Simmons? Like, how many ways? Yeah, how many ways? Tell me, can I say fuck you? Just tell me how many ways. How can I count the ways to wish nothing but... I honestly want to see that nigga back in Australia walking kangaroos and holding koala bears for a living. Because that's what that nigga deserves. Porsche, this topic is your topic. Why don't you set us off and let us know what we're talking about today?
Sure. So I was in a conversation with a friend of mine on the phone, and we started talking about... The conversation started talking about DJ Quick and Too Short, and somehow rolled into and kind of evolved into how timing played a role in certain MCs getting to wherever they are at present time or for a time. And then in the middle of the conversation, I was like, this is a dope topic for Apartment 5B. I'm going to hit up Kill as soon as I get off the phone with you, which I did. So today's topic is which MCs kind of, when was there a void, or where was there a void in hip hop that an MC came and sort of like swept in and took advantage of that to kind of, you know, like better their career or catapult their career or start their career or whatever it is. And I think we're going to do hip hop and R&B for those of us who have either or.
Right. Right. So when Porsche hit me with this, I was looking at timing as different things. 2 examples. You got Kane in the Don't Curse video, the Heavy D joint. I remember watching the video and you see Kane in a purple silk shirt with a bottle of champagne, and we like, yo, what's up with this? What's up with your man? Like, niggas used to call me Big Daddy Kill in high school. Ev went to high school with me, so Ev knows the old Big Daddy Kill stories. So niggas are looking at me like, Kill, what's up with your man? Why this nigga got on the purple button up and everybody else got on, you know, the hip hop gear or whatever? But then you fast forward 5 years, and who's standing around with a silk button-up shirt and a bottle of champagne in his hand but Jay-Z? So it's just that the timing wasn't right for that. You know what I mean? Because you fast forward 5 years, and that's what everybody's doing. You got AZ, everybody got on a silk shirt with a bottle of champagne in their hands. Or for the hoop side of things, you got my man, I always use this example, my man Len Greer out of Philadelphia, went to E&S, Engineering and Science, with the Temple under John Chaney. He's about 6'2", maybe about 6'2", and he was a shooting guard. He's not even 6'2", right? Maybe 6 feet.
5'9".
5. God damn, he's 5'9". I thought he was at least 6 feet.
Nah, he's listed as 6'1", but he probably I give him probably like 5'10", 5'11", maybe.
All right, so maybe we're talking an Allen Iverson type player, but he played 2 guard in college. He was not a point guard; he was a shooting guard. But he came out in 2002. And in 2002, people were not drafting 6'2" shooting guards like that. We all now know that Steph Curry, thanks to the Steph Curry effect, you will draft a 6 foot, you know, look at Trae Young. You know what I mean? Back in 2002, Trae Young's not getting drafted in the first round. Now, keep in mind, Len Gray, I want to say, led the nation in scoring that year. And if he didn't, it was very close to it. The more what I'm saying is that the timing wasn't there yet. People weren't going to draft. This dude didn't get drafted at all. Not the first round, not the second round. So again, now because of the Steph Curry effect, now the timing is that a guard like Trae Young can get drafted much higher up. So just looking at things like timing, and then for me, sometimes I also looked at it like maybe people opening the door for it. So like Porsche said, there was a void there, and this person filled the void, but then here comes the gate gets open, and now everybody else is coming up doing that. So Porsche, why don't you set us off, ladies first, what you got up for who advanced their career by timing?
So I'm going to start off with, and I talk about this every now and then, Jay-Z to me. When Big passed away, there was, I wasn't in New York, but from what I hear about the atmosphere in New York at that time was everyone was just, hip hop was just like got hit on a morale side really badly. And there was just a emptiness in the city, in hip hop. Of course, we felt it on this side of, not even the United States, but on this side of the continent. So I can just imagine what New York was like. And then here comes Jay-Z with City Is Mine. And of course, he's paying homage to Big, and he's bigging up Big, and everyone's like, oh, this is what we needed. Like, it was sort of like that, I don't know, like that sort of, he kind of stepped into that void and he filled it. He filled it, and that's where, and I think that played a tremendous part in Jay's trajectory. Now, I don't want Hovengers assembling in my mentions, telling me that I'm hating. I'm not saying he wouldn't have been where he is now if Big was still alive. He absolutely would have. It's just this, I think, accelerated that process for him exponentially. It would have maybe taken Jay, he would have been in the exact same position, still the greatest, still all these great things, but it just would have taken him longer. So for me, Jay is like the prime example of this, of what this topic really entails, is that Big passed away, he kind of scoops in and then takes that, King of New York thing.
Right. That's number one for me too. You call them the Hovengers, I call them the Jehovah Witnesses, and they live on my timeline anyway, so fuck them, let them come again. I say this, I disagree with one. I agree with you to a point. I don't think Jay becomes who he is if Big never dies, in my opinion. One thing I've learned about life, and I tell people this all the time, I don't argue or debate opinions. I only want to look at facts. I'm too goddamn old. I got too much shit to do with my time. My time is precious, so I'm only going to argue facts. Here's the thing. To me, in life, there's only room for one. And Jay said this. He said there's only one presidential suite. It was the issue of XXL, and it had like the whole Rockefeller on the cover, like they did like a president photo shoot or something like that. And Jay was saying there's only one presidential suite. Me, Dame, and Biggs can't all stay in that one presidential. There's one president, then there's a vice president. There's one principal, then there's a vice principal. You can't have. That's why none of these things, the Def Jams with Rick and Russell, with LaFace, with LA and Babyface, these two people cannot both be the president. It just can't. It doesn't work. That's a fact. It doesn't work. And to me, there can only be one spot. There can only be, and Ludacris said it's the number one spot. And I always say, again, all my hoop heads will understand me with this. When Allen Iverson and Stephon Marbury both got drafted in the 96 draft, they were the exact same player. Point guard, flashy, both at this time in 95, 96 were the only people with tattoos. Both came from the hood. There was only room for one. You can look at it and say, why both of these dudes can't get love? They're both incredibly talented. It don't work like that. Allen got all of the love. And Steph spent the bulk of his career trying to get whatever Allen got. What Allen get? What contract he got? That's what I want. Where Allen play? I got to get out of Minnesota. I need to be where Allen is. There's only one spot. And the thing is here's the fact. When Big and Jay were alive, Jay was going Big was going 5 million. And Jay was struggling to get to 500,000. That's a fact. That's not my opinion. It's a fact. Now, I've heard people say, well, Jay had, Biggie had Bad Boy. So, of course, he was going to, get more, bang for the buck because Puffy he's got the money and everything like that. And I'm like, cool. But then at the flip, y'all can say Jay was the dude who had what'd he say? He had the National Guard come and get him. According to Jay, he been spending money since '88. So Jay had just as much money, yes, as Bad Boy would have, to do as much promotion as he needed. It's documented that he was paying producers with drug money, coming in giving ski beats, Nike shoe boxes full of money for beats, and getting in D&D studios and getting on the radio and all that. So to me, there was only one spot, and it was obvious who people were fucking with. They fucked with Big. That's just the fact. Again, this isn't my opinion. It's a fact that they only fucked with Big. Big seems way more cooler than Jay. If you ask me, Kill, who would you want to hang out with? Big. Big looked like he was fun. Big looked like he'd have you laughing. Big looked like you could have a good time with dude. Jay seems like that type dude you would be laughing with, and then he'd snap and get on some old rah-rah shit and try and play you or something like that. You know what I mean? So Big was the dude. Women love Big. Women love Big no matter what. You know what I mean? So to me, there's only one spot. That spot was Big. And you don't go from selling 500,000 to selling 5 million records. Now, people like to bring up the fact of, well, Kill Big died in 97. And if that was the case, then why didn't Jay's second album sell as much as the third album? Well, that's because Big had just died. So we weren't looking, that hole wasn't there yet to be open. We just got Life After Death. So it's not like we got Ready to Die in 93, then Life After Death in 95, and then Jay comes in 97. We had just got Life After Death, so we were still living with Big. We still got the Puff Bad Boy joint with the Benjamins and Victory and all. So we were still hearing Big verses when that second album came out. And then let's not act like that second album, half of that album wasn't a dud with him trying to follow Big's formula. So to me, at the end of the day, you don't go from selling 500,000 records to 5 million records. You know what I mean? Without some type of phenomenal push. Motherfucker, Money Cash Hoes was not that great of a song to push you from 500,000 people liking you to 5 million. I loved Hard Knock Life. It wasn't that goddamn good of a song to take you from 500,000 people to 5. I don't think people really understand how much of a jump. That is a 4.5 million jump of people that are now buying your records. That could have brought the first one. That could have brought the second one. It's obvious there's more enough people that people could have said, you know what, we're going to buy both. But they didn't. And it's not like with Reasonable Doubt, you had to go in some back cellar or some hood. You could go walk in Sam Good, wherever you got Life After Death, you could have brought Reasonable Doubt. So it's not like, it was crazy independent and you had to be in Brooklyn and you had to be in Marcy. Any record store you walked in, I copped the second album from Sam Goody at 5 Points in Atlanta. So it's not like it was like, I can't find it. Niggas decided who they was rocking with, and it was Big. So I agree with you 100% on that, Porsche. Jay inherited Big's entire fan base. I will give more examples of this happening in R&B and in hip hop. And again, you can't have two. They were too similar. Both these dudes from Brooklyn. Both of them don't write their rhymes down. Both of them rap about money, clothes, drinks, champagne, cars. They literally were the same exact person. The same way Steph and AI was literally the same exact point guard. One is from Brooklyn, one is from Virginia. They both from the hood. They both got flashiness to their game. Everybody rocked with AI. Same way everybody rocked with Big. So I agree with you on that, Porsche. Jay was mine too. On the R&B tip, I got this person. Oh, my fault.
Can we speak to that point that you?
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't know if everybody else can chime in. I didn't know if that was on anybody else's. So we can go around and talk about that. But you can set it off him.
Yeah, no, you had some good points, but I wanted to touch on them a little bit more. One, yes, I definitely feel like Jay inherited Big's fan base. I've always been curious as far as like whose decision was that? If it was a calculated decision, if it was just a time, like of course it's timing, but whose idea was it? You know what? It's a whole fan base now that's looking for somebody to follow. Let's start dropping stuff now. So I'm always very, and I don't have an answer to that, but I'm always very curious as far as if that was a actual plan, whose idea was it to put that plan in action. But I will say this. Now, I don't be on Twitter, so y'all can hit me up as much as you fucking want. I don't care.
I tell niggas all the time, you keep tweeting at me, nigga, you gonna be talking to a wall because I ain't answering the shit. So
I'm gonna say this, and I know it's not popular. To me, questionably, Jay was on his way up to me, Jay was questionably a better MC than Big when he was on his way up. But I do feel like there is a couple of things that I disagree a little bit with you. One is, I do feel like the label connection that Puffy had, even though Jay and Jay know, it's something label connection. Puffy had been label connection and experience. Puffy had been in the music industry long before them cats came through, so he already had a whole lot of knowledge base as far as how to move records around. They were still learning, and my example of that, I don't know if you remember this. Jay and Dame came to Morgan State to promote whatever the fuck that album was with the champagne bottle.
Reasonable Doubt.
Reasonable Doubt. Yeah, it was a single.
For everybody watching just at home, Ev is not a fan of Reasonable Doubt. That's why he just called it that.
Yeah,
champagne
it's
album.
not. Yeah, the shit with the shit with the fucking champagne bottle.
This nigga just called Reasonable Doubt that champagne album, whatever the fuck he was promoting.
But I remember them sitting. I gave him a lot of respect. They sat in that cafeteria, and they got no love from nobody, and they sat there pretty much by themselves, and they sat there for pretty much the whole night, and they didn't really get a whole lot of love, but you see an actual impact that they had. So they were definitely on a mission, and there's some curiosity around, like, not that I'm looking to see MCs go back to back for the first spot, because I feel like that's some whole other shit. Everybody want to be the king. That's cool. But I'm curious as far as what would have happened if that would have taken place, if it would have been back and forth. But I will say, Jay and Dane was coming definitely from a grassroots perspective. Even when they had drug money, they were coming grassroots. And when you come in grassroots, there's a lot that you don't know. And there's a lot that you have to be informed about. Whereas Puffy was already in it, and he know how to move pieces around. He know who to call. He know who to pay. I think that you still, even though if you got money to pay, you gotta know who the fuck to pay. So there's some questionable as far as like what would have been Jay's outcome if Big didn't transition. So to me, yeah, he definitely inherited his fan base without question. But I'm always curious as far as one, whose decision was that to push that? Because he got pushed hard, and anybody could have took that slot during that time, but nobody did besides him at that time too. But also
another show, Ev. That's a whole other show.
Yeah, This is a great discussion. One, I don't think it was a calculated decision. I think because they were so alike. Like if AI died tomorrow or died in '97, it would have been like, we fuck with Steph. Steph wouldn't have to do anything but be Steph, because it just was. There's two things, and we'll talk about this. Like, it's one of those things where it's just like, have you ever seen such and such and such and such in the same room when they the same person? Like, I'm going to talk about how, keep in mind, there's only one spot. When Usher was kind of quiet for a while, boom, here comes Chris Brown. It's like, boom. But Usher and Chris Brown were never at the same top at the same time. It was like he kind of slid in because, again, there's only one spot. You're not really going to have Chris Brown at his height and Usher at his height because there's only one spot. Same thing kind of with Sierra. You're not going to have too many singing, dancing chicks all at the same time. You know what I mean? So I personally don't think it was like a conscious decision. I think because you had, one, they were cool. So you saw Biggie in the Ain't No Nigga video. You know what I'm saying? You heard Big and Jay rhyme together on Brooklyn's Finest. You saw them rhyme together on We Love the Dough. Yeah, We Love the Dough. You saw Big playing Monopoly with the nigga in the Dead Presidents video. So people kind of already knew that, they kind of, like I said, they were so much alike that it literally would be like, Ev, if me and you had the same exact type podcast and we ran it the same exact way, and I just fell off and stopped doing the pop.
I didn't think they were that much alike, though. Their styles?
To me, they are. To me, if you listen to I Love the Dough, them dudes are going back and forth. And again, they rhyme about the same thing. They, they're literally almost cut. They're like a cut and paste of each other. You know what I mean? They come from the same cloth.
You got Best Eye, and you got like.
Then they both from Brooklyn. They both went to the same high school. So they're literally, again, like for me, there's other podcasts that aren't like this. I want to teach. We don't argue. We don't do shit like that. If Ev, you had the same exact podcast, and then tomorrow I was like, yo, I'm done with Apartment 5B, people will probably be like, well, fuck it, let's tune in to Ev's joint because he's doing the same exact thing that we like Apartment 5B for? Like, you wouldn't even have to be like, hey, fuck Apartment 5B, I'm here. No, if people would just already know, because you would have been on my show, I would have been on your show. You know, same thing. What did we used to use before, Porsche? We used to use Google Hangouts. Then Google Hangouts went down, and then just like that, bam, here comes StreamYard. They just popped right in. They didn't pop. I ain't know nothing about a StreamYard until Google Hangouts was like, we are shutting down on this day. And then I literally, that day, boom, here comes StreamYard. And it was like, oh, damn, that was perfect. I'm sure that was calculated. I'm sure they were like, we got this, but if we put it out right now, then we're going to compete with Google Hangouts. But you know what I mean? Everybody uses StreamYard now because it's the only thing to use, you know? And two, I'll say about the label connects, I totally agree with you. And that there is a percentage, I think, that, of course, Puff had more money. But ain't no nigga was on the radio all goddamn summer. All year. All year.
What radio, though? But yeah. On what radio? Like, what radio station?
Everything. Everybody from Hot 97 to Power 99, that song with Foxy Brown was everywhere.
We know that up and down the coast, but one, we don't know that across the land. That's one.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I don't know what they was doing in LA. You're 100% right.
And you know, my second point to that is radio slot and promotion. Like Puffy knew how to do promotions.
You're right.
Coming out of the gate, you don't know promotion how to really do that shit like that. Coming out.
Right. I'll give you that, and I will say that again. I'll never try to sit here and act like Bad Boy that Rockefeller could compete with Bad Boy. That was probably the biggest label at the time. I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is the great thing about Big is that he let Jay come in. You know what I mean? Like, he let him in. Like, you know, he was part of Reasonable Doubt. Like, maybe Big was a huge reason Reasonable Doubt did sell 500,000, because it was like, oh shit, Big is on this joint. You know what I mean? So I agree with you, Rel. I know you got something, and then Eddie got something. Rel, what you got?
I think what started really making them similar was when Jay slowed his flow down. You know what I'm saying? You know, at first when Jay was like rapping with original flavor and all that, he was rapping real fast. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know whose idea was it for him to slow his flow down like that. But once that happened, it was like, and then you heard him on Reasonable Doubt. And the similarities just was there, but I know a lot of people kind of looked at him as the little brother to Big, you know what I'm saying? So I think it would have been difficult for him to get out of that shadow, you know what I'm saying, if Big was still alive, you know what I'm saying? That's a huge shadow to get out of. Not to say he wouldn't be successful, but I don't know. That would have been tough, because I just don't see Big, if he was stayed alive, putting out bullshit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it would have been a huge shadow to get for him to, you know what I'm saying? Who's to say he might have tried to change to something, because that lane, like, you got somebody
that was
like
all
that
big.
In that lane.
The lane was crowded.
It's no room in that lane, really. You know what I'm saying? If you really trying to eat. So he might have switched his style or something, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, but.
And let me say this, bro, you made a great point. Porsche, when I disagree with you, I didn't mean to say that Jay wouldn't have been successful. I just don't think Jay would be where he is right now. Like, I don't think he's worth $1 billion if Big doesn't die, because I feel like the foundation of all his business ventures came from the music. You know what I mean? So I think if Big is still alive, so of course I do think Jay will be successful, because I don't know Big, this is just what I'm thinking. Big never really seemed to be the entrepreneur to me. You know what I'm saying? He just seemed to be the MC. So I don't think he would have been the one to say, let me start a clothing line. Let me try to buy the net. I don't know. Maybe somebody would have gotten his ear. We don't know. Because here's the great thing about this. I never looked at Nas as a businessman before, and look at this nigga now. So, you know what I mean? So somebody may have gotten the Big's ear. So I just wanted to say that I wasn't trying to say that Jay would not have been successful. I just don't think Jay would be a billionaire of everything that he's doing right now if Big didn't die, because like Rel said, there's one lane. That's it. There's only one spot.
And that's what I mean
that person.
That's what I mean when I say the trajectory would have been different. So it wouldn't have been like, if it was on a graph, it wouldn't have been like this steady incline that Jay had. It may have had like an incline and then a really big dip and then a little bit of an incline and then a little bit more, you know, like all along the way throughout the years. So that's what I mean. Like it just would have been a different way that he would have still gotten to the same end goal, in my opinion.
Right. Right. Now, I will say this, Rel. I look at Jay similar to Marlo on The Wire, where Prop Joe was like, I treated you like a son, and Marlo was like, I wasn't meant to be the son. So I've always said that I felt like if Big did stay alive, that they would have ended up beefing, because Jay would have never been okay with, like you said, being a little brother, being in the shadow, all those things, because I just don't feel like that's Jay's personality. You know what I mean? And I think Jay would have realized if he did. Jay won't ever say it, but I'm sure deep down that nigga heart and soul, he knows he was always number 2 when Big was here, and he probably would have always been number 2 when Big was here, because everybody would have went to Big first before they went to Jay. So when Jay decided, let me start hanging up on the Rough Riders floor in the Def Jam building and grab some of these Swiss beats, Swiss would have already been sending them beats to Big. So see, that's the thing. Anybody to Pharrell would already been sending. So Jay would have always been second on everybody's list. As a producer, you have your folders: A beats, B beats. I got a whole slash of beats that I'm only waiting until I can get in the studio with a heavy hit. So trust me, all those hot beats that they were sending to Jay would have went to Big first, and then Jay would have been getting the scraps.
I just throw this in there. We got to remember too, because I know it's hard for us to go back because Big has transitioned and our ideas and perspectives of him since his transition has changed. But during that time, a lot of people was coming at Big neck for the whole this whole like poppy, the Baton shit.
But the thing is,
he wasn't really the most popular person that he was maybe the year or two prior.
Well, I look at it like this. The only niggas who was coming at Big was ghosting them niggas. And that shit didn't affect nobody who fucked with Biggs.
Boot Camp was coming at him too.
But here's the thing. I'll only speak for me. That shit ain't mean shit to me. I wasn't going to be like, I don't fuck with Big because Buckshot and Smith and Wesson are talking shit, and who ended up getting pistol whipped for talking shit too, by the way. Yeah, but again, I'm just talking numbers. Big selling 5 million. Nobody else in New York at that time was pushing 5 million records. So nobody was like, fuck, now I ain't gonna buy this new Big album because, niggas is ghosting them talking shit. That nigga selling more than Ray, Ghost, all the Wu niggas put together. So at the end of the day, I don't look at it like, even though ghosting them was coming at that nigga, that anybody was like, oh yeah, you're right, we don't fuck. Again, I can only speak for myself, Morgan, the people I ran with, we all loved Big. We all did. Even when niggas was like, he bit Nas cover. Niggas was like, so life after that Ready to Die shit crazy. Like, it's like, okay. So you know what I mean? So but again, at that point,
we wasn't Big was cool, but we looked at what he was doing like, that's not hip hop.
See, that's you, bro. I can't. Again, that wasn't me and the niggas I was running with at Morgan. We all love Big, and anytime that I would say, oh man, why you do that juicy shit, he'd hit you with Unbelievable. When he hit me with the, oh god, that damn, why you singing over that the barge one more chick?
Don't get it twisted. His pen was still nasty, without question. His pen was still nasty. It was just some of them choices, and I think as we all heard, you hear through the grapevine. Even he has some issues with some of them choices.
Those weren't his choices.
Right. But I mean, at the end of the day, I can only speak for me and we all love Big. Whenever something new came out, I never forget my man YZ drove on campus blasting Who Shot You. We was like, yo, what the fuck is that? When Big was on Totals, Can't You See? He was like, yo, what the fuck is that? I don't know nobody who was ever not hype as hell to hear a new Big verse. You know what I mean? But Eddie, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, I actually felt like, if there was anyone else next to Big, for me it would have been Nas, but I felt like Nas was a different lane, because to be honest, like fans of Nas, we didn't want to hear him do that type of stuff. No, I mean, like Nas was always more of the poet, like you want to hear like how he tells a story, how he words, like that. Like you're not really looking at Nas for a club joint or stuff like that. Jay, and I feel like Jay was like really throwing stuff against the wall, like, and really, if Reasonable Doubt would have blown up the way, maybe him and Dame thought it would, maybe Jay would have stayed in that lane, but it didn't. And, he saw a big success, and he was like, throwing things against, which is why Volume 1 was all over the place. And then Hard Knock Life, even with it selling all, like Hard Knock Life was inconsistent. Volume 3 was inconsistent. I don't think Jay got consistent until The Blueprint. Like, that was really the first album where he put it all together and kind of crafted his own sound, with Just Blaze and Kanye and the other producers that he brought on that album. That you really say, all right, that's the signature Jay sound. But before then, I just kind of felt he was throwing stuff against the wall.
But I think it's always about, and I always talk about this every day, all day, anywhere I can go. It's always about your goals. You know what I mean? And I think Jay's goal was, I want to sell a lot of fucking records. Because selling a lot of records will make me a lot of money. Like you said, 100% right. That Volume 1, it was, I don't know how to do Big's formula. It's like going over your aunt's house, eating her mac and cheese. She don't give the fucking recipe, but then you want to try to come home and do it yourself. And you just be fucking up trays and trays of macaroni and cheese trying to get that shit right. You know what I mean? Jay said he finally got it right on that joint with Jermaine Dupri, Money Ain't a Thing. He was like, that's when I kind of got into the groove of, okay, this is how you make this radio song that kind of fits in both lanes. You know what I mean? Because that, I know what girls like, and The City Is Mine, and Sunshine with Foxy Brown. That he like, that's him trying to make Auntie Maybelline's mac and cheese, and you don't know how to make it, so you just trying your best. Everybody got a Aunt Maybelline somewhere. You trying to make it, but you can't get it right. So, what you said?
I was saying that's a great analogy, by the way, too.
Oh, good looking. Y'all know I got an analogy for everything. So, what Mars say to kill analogy. So, but that's what Jay was doing. So when he finally got it, all he cared about was money. So he didn't care about is the album cohesive. It was like, hey, Hard Knock Life sold all these records. Hey, Money Cash Hole sold all these records. I didn't like the other album, the one with Big Pimpin', but Big Pimpin' blew the hell up. So again, I don't know if Jay's mindset was, let me make good albums, or let me make songs that blow up that enable me to make a shitload of money. Because those are two totally different things. Like Pharoah Monch is probably in the mindset of, my goal is to make a cohesive album. Jay's goal is, let me sell a whole lot of fucking records. And a lot of times those two things can't live in the same space. You're not going to be able to make. Now, the blueprint blew up to me because Jay was already where he was at. You know what I mean? So it's like, here's my cohesive album that sells a whole lot of records because y'all know where I'm at. You know what I mean? I'm already known. Yeah. So here you go. Plus, he went back to using samples, which made all us backpackers happy again. I remember my man Jay's call. I wasn't even gonna buy the Blueprint. I didn't even listen to that Rockefeller album with 1-900 Hustler until later on. I was done with Jay. You know what I mean? Because I was like, he's not making music for me. My man called me like, yo, you gotta get this Blueprint. Like, he back. And then I got the Blueprint. I was like, oh shit, this nigga is back. You know what I mean? Like, this is, like you said, Eddie, a cohesive album. But he was already at the point where now he can do that because he, like what he's saying in the Black Album. Yo, I used to want to rap like Common Sense, but shit don't make money. like that's letting you know Jay's mindset. Like, I'd love to rap like Common Sense, but nigga, you think I'm gonna live like Common Sense? No. So I gotta rap like this. So I mean, all dope points, you know, across the board. I mean, again, I definitely think Jay would have still blown up, but with that only, it's the same thing with the drug game. Like, that's why Marlo had to kill Prop Joe, because like, yo, we can't both be here together, nigga. I'm trying to take over Baltimore. You're in my fucking way. I don't care if you on East Side and I'm West Side, nigga. You in the way. You got the plug. I need that plug. Got to kill you. Got to go.
Two
you know what I mean?
At the top.
Yeah, two can't exist at the top. It's just a fact. I don't know if there's ever been somebody out there watching. Tell me, has there ever been a record label where there are two people in charge that shit just lasted forever and was successful? And I mean two people that are both the presidents. I don't mean like, I know with Buckshot and Drew High, I don't think they were both the presidents. Or maybe they was, but Duck Down didn't last that long either. But you're not, Def Jam went down, LaFace went down, all those places went down because you can't have two people who are both going to be the president. It just can't happen. Rel, who you got for your joints?
For mine, just going to piggyback.
Oh, I apologize, Rel. Let me get my R&B one in because y'all got jokes. I want y'all jokes. I want the smoke. So on the R&B tip, someone who had perfect timing, my guy right here, Chico DeBarge. long time no see. Okay, I saw the video for Igamy with Nia Long, straight D'Angelo vibe to it, straight Brown Sugar vibe. People front on this album. I think this is a 5 mic album. I love this album. And along with Chico DeBarge, my guy Myron, you know he was coming. He's the same vibe of the neo soul, D'Angelo sound. Before everybody laughs, just Google the video. We Can Get Down with Spinderella. As soon the first 10 seconds of that sounds like something that would have been left off the Brown Sugar cutting floor. So to me, these two had the timing of D'Angelo taking that 20-year hiatus.
20-year hiatus.
Well, you know, I mean, Brown Sugar came out in 96, and then what? Voodoo was like 2001. So that's like, 4 or 5 years. I mean, that's a long ass time in rapper years. I mean, even R&B years. So we wanted that sound, and these two kind of came in and filled that slot because D'Angelo was MIA.
Myron, filled the slot?
I got bitten ass today, son, but I stinking ass filthy dog. That's how he looked on the cover. He landed on his stomach like he got bitten ass.
Kill didn't listen to DJ Quick because his hair had a perm, but he listened to Myron every time. I get salty every time Myron comes up because I'm like, how with that covered?
Maybe here's the thing. First of all, let's understand some things here. The album cover is horrible. Yes, it is. It's a fact. It's a fact.
I'm full out of loop.
Most people don't know. Most people, I don't think anybody knows who Myron was.
Was his timing really good then? If we don't know who he is, was his timing good?
I believe it was. Okay? I believe it was. Look, y'all, everybody just please go listen. Go listen. You ain't gotta listen to the whole album. Just look at the video for We Can Get Down. You will hear the first 10 to 20 seconds. It has the whole D'Angelo vibe
it's
to
the
it.
cover, bro.
But listen, Kill. So when you went to the record store, Kill.
First of all, if we look very closely in there, it has the for promotion only use. This is when I was still at 889. So this was from the label. You got the whole.
I'm gonna take it home.
And it's autographed.
It's autographed by me. It's by autograph. I tag for everybody watching. I tag my stuff because I always had a million CDs, and that Morgan niggas would come in your room and be like, "Yo, let me borrow a CD." So I tagged everything. So,
Kill, I just have one question. When you saw, did you see the album cover before you heard music?
No, I heard it. This is back in the day when you hear the single first, and then the album comes. So
part of the album cover made you want to be like, yo, I'm gonna check that joint out.
It wasn't the album cover. It was strictly, I love the joint We Can Get Down with Spinderella. Go ahead, make the jokes that he couldn't get salt and pepper and he ended up with Spinderella. Go ahead, make the jokes. I literally have heard every Myron joke there is to hear.
He's rapping.
There's nothing more you all can say to me. What you say?
He's rapping?
Spinderella was rapping.
Yeah, Spinderella was rapping. So I guess his budget could not. I guess they were like, Salt and Pepper was like, who is Myron? No. And Spin was like, shit, I ain't doing nothing. Fuck it, I rap. So
I want to work in the radio station joints, though. This is a radio station moment. This is, if you only know this if you worked in a radio station, because I don't know who the hell Myron is. And I don't know if I saw this cover. If I would be like, I'm going to check that out. I probably wouldn't.
I didn't know funny, man. Until he spun around in the chair.
Here's the funniest thing. I've never. Go ahead, Eddie. Go ahead.
Is he kissing his bracelet? What is he doing on the bed? What's going on?
You says he kissing his bracelet? No, I don't fucking know what he's doing. Like what, bro? What you got, bro? What you got,
bro? That's like an up and coming rapper getting a Jerobi feature.
Oh my god!
Feature for 5 and got Jerobi, man.
Oh my god!
Thank you. Which sums up my feelings on that last Tribe album. Thank you.
Oh man.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Again, I like the album. The album cover is horrible, but the moral to the story is Chico, Myron are the two people that I wanted to listen to because I wanted more D'Angelo. I love Brown Sugar, and it was like constantly waiting, like when's he gonna come out again? And then it was like these two dudes dropped. Had the D'Angelo vibe to him, and I was like, bet, let's go. You know what I mean? So that's it. Well, there you go, man. I shouldn't have no more jokes for the rest of the night, but who knows with y'all.
All right, mine piggybacks off the Jay-Z thing. I'm gonna go with Lil Wayne when Jay-Z would kind of talk about retiring. He was kind of not. He was still him, but he was not that guy. His audience was getting a little older. You know what I'm saying? And when he was talking about retiring, it seemed like Wayne just kind of slid into that spot, start calling himself the greatest rapper alive, and it kind of just boom, Lil Wayne's everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And I think that was strategic. I think that was strategic, but the timing on that was kind of perfect for him. You know what I'm saying? It was right when Jay was kind of chilling and he was talking about retiring, and to be honest, some of the projects weren't the greatest, and Lil Wayne was, you know, picking up momentum, changed his flow, changed the way he flowed, started getting a little popular, and then he just kind of slid into the spot of people saying, yo, he's the guy right now. You know what I'm saying the greatest rapper alive. He was saying that, you know what I'm saying? And I think he just kind of wedged himself into that little space during that time when Jay-Z was like on his retiring mode and not really making music like that.
It's a dope point. That's a dope point. And something you said earlier about Jay, I remember the first time my OG Roots came into the studio with the In My Lifetime 12-inch. He's like, yo, this is the new Jay-Z. And I was like, I don't fuck with that rappity rap, DOS effects, nigga, whatever. And then we put the needle on. We was like, who the fuck is this? Like, this ain't like, who is this dude? Like, he talking about moving weight and all. I'm like, when did the rapper become a drug dealer? And it, like you say, he just switched his entire flow. Like, it was a whole new person. And by the end, I was like, yo, I like this dude. You know what I mean? And then when we heard the Big Jazz In My Lifetime remix, it was like, yo, this dude got some shit right here, because this is crazy. So dope pick with Wayne too. Eddie, who you got?
All right, so I'm gonna go. My first pick is gonna be Little Brother. You know, rapper Big Pooh and Fonte, and so I feel like they filled the void where Native Tongues kind of movement had ended. Even the raucous movement had kind of faded out. And they kind of stepped right into there, you know what I mean? That first album, The Listening, you know, they were paying homage, you know what I mean? Like, they had some references to Tribe and the Native Tongues and the raucous and all that. They were paying homage and they were giving us that feeling, you know? So I think they took that torch and they just ran with it, especially Fonte. But, you know, rapper Big Pooh is still doing things, you know what I mean? So he's had a great career in his own right as a solo artist, as a group, and then Fonte kind of splitting off and doing his thing with Foreign Exchange and then his solo stuff. But yeah, I think that kind of opened the door for them.
Nah, that's a dope pick. And the other thing with Little Brother is the internet helped a lot. OK Player really helped a lot because Quest was like shouting them out. And like you said, at that time, there wasn't OK Player's message boards. Message boards essentially was what Twitter is for us now. You know what I mean? It was the place where everybody could go, heads could go. And it was like, it literally was Twitter. It was like, look, I'm talking to Quest, or Com just replied to me, or whatever like that. So I think when Quest was like, yo, Little Brother is dope, just that cosign alone on OK Player was enough to, you know, kind of blow them up. Another thing, and this again, people think I'm trying to take something away from Ninth, but I'm not. But Rel, to go back on Jay, his business savvy, around the time when the Black album was coming out, everybody on OK Player was like done with Jay. They was like, kind of like how Eb, what you were saying about Big, like they're not liking the direction that Jay is going. So everybody was talking shit about it. And this was around the time that Jay had done the Unplugged with Quest. I don't know this to be true. This is just my philosophy. I think Jay getting with Quest, seeing what they were talking about on OK Player, was one of the reasons he got Ninth to be on the Black album. Because the story is that Ninth went to New York with like 100 beats. Jay didn't pick any of them. And said, here, loop this R. Kelly joint shit. I said his name. Loop this Candyman shit. And I'll rap over that. Now, here's the reason why I call bullshit on that. Because if I go to New York and I play Jay 100 beats and Jay don't like none of them, he's going to say, it was very nice meeting you, Kill. You know, call it a day. He's not going to be like, all right, well, loop. Jay could have had Young Guru loop that. Jay could have told Kanye or Just to loop that. But he knew. But then the second on OK Player, when Quest was like, or when Knife came in and was like, yo, I made the Black album, then everybody on OK Player was like, oh, we're gonna buy the Black album to support Knife. And that was just Jay's business savviness, like, oh, these niggas don't like me? Let me find a way to get y'all money. I'm gonna put Knife on the album, got all y'all motherfuckers money. And now I'm back with the Backpackers. Now the Backpackers love me again. One thing I will never tell Jay will get all the credit in the world for being one of the most savvy businessmen ever. Because he's going to find a way to get the people who hate him to love him again. So and buy his music.
That's Puffy's thing too. I have to, like, Puffy's business savvy is just...
You broke up for a second. What'd you say?
Oh, I said that's like Puff. Like he's the same. He's business savvy. He knows.
I think Jay even takes it to another fucking level. Like Jay is just. I'll never forget the ad that he had for the Magna Carta joint, and it came on during the NBA Finals, and everybody was like, "Oh shit, he got Rick Rubin on the album. He got Pharrell on the album." Because all Rick Rubin was doing, sitting there, was laying in the chair with the headphones on, and we all thought that. Jay never said Rick was on there, nothing like that. And of course Rick didn't make the album, but that's just like his, I don't know how he does it, he just does it, you know what I mean? And and folk fall for it all the time. They'd be like, oh, we're done with Jay. The first single, Death for Auto Tune, we like, oh shit, he back, Death for Auto Tune, this gonna be crazy. Then you buy the album and there's nothing like Death for Auto Tune. Or you know him when they was doing, I thought it was hard compared to what Jay was doing. You know what I mean? Like that Run This Town with Rihanna and Kanye. I'm not that Jay fan. I'm the Death of an Auto-Tune Jay fan. So it was like, okay, Jay's back. We're constantly wanting him to go back. Kind of like we do with Ye. Like it's like now you got people who actually have t-shirts. We miss the old Kanye. Like people are always gonna go to see what Kanye has and hoping that he's going to go back. And I think that's how it was for people with Jay. It was like, we're hoping you go back to the old stuff. When they were doing the Watch the Throne, they was tweeting all this stuff. Oh, we in the studio with Premier. Yo, we linking up with Pete Rock. Yo, we in the studio with the motherfuckers, but they ain't making the album. You know what I mean? But it gets us hype enough to be like, oh, Alchemist made the album back. No, we never said. And the great part about it is they can say, we never lied. We never lied. We never told you Alchemist made the album. We just told y'all we was in the studio with him, and you dumb fucks believed it and brought the album. Thank you very much. You know, we got niggas with Paris. Hit Boy made the album with niggas with Paris. Alchemist didn't make the album, but we was in the studio, so we wasn't lying, but just didn't make the album. Ev, what you got, a good brother?
I'm gonna go back a little bit, man. I'm gonna go back to MC Hammer. In 1988, the first rap commercial appears, St. Ives commercial. At that time, in 1988, we have the birth of rap pop music. And Hammer came right in there. He re-released his first album, put a couple of extra tracks on it, and sold, over 2 million copies? He came in and was like, yo, if rock can do pop, I'm gonna take this rap shit, we're gonna do pop. And he just came in at a great time. It was already at least, you know, not, I don't know if the world was known by that time, but at least nationally known by that time. And Hammer was like, yo, if it's nationally known, that means there's a lot of people that's ready to buy albums. So how can we make this shit pop? And he did that, and he did an excellent job at it. So, MC Hammer.
Hell yeah. I had some silver shit on my shoes, goddammit. I don't know about
I had the wings.
I had some silver shit on my shoes and some parachute pants to the floor.
You got some footage of that, right?
Hey.
Yeah, I need to see a 6'5" nigga with some damn Hammer pants on.
Hey, I wasn't 6'5" in '88, but trust and believe. Turn this mother. Look, don't get it twisted, man. Look,
listen, y'all get from everybody loved the Hammer song. Everybody loved the Hammer song.
I like one MC Hammer song. I forgot the name of it. It may have been Turn This Mother.
Turn This Mother Out with Too Big MC. Come on, man.
I can't remember what it was.
Yo,
I think that was it. They put me in the mix.
Yeah,
they put me in the mix. I think that was the one I liked. I think that was the
real fast joint. Yeah, if you was dancing,
and all that,
I think that's the one.
All those tracks that we're naming all came off of his quote unquote second album. It was the re-release of the first, when the rap did the whole like popular music world.
That's the joint when he had the shades and the green suit on.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I think the also thing, and it goes back to that wonderful year '88 where you had different channels, so you were able to turn on the MC Hammer channel and that'd be fine. You know what I mean? And it just that channel got closed real quick because it was just like, now Hammer ain't hard enough. You know what I mean? And everything like that. But
just jumping in one last time, this is what came out in '88. By all means necessary, Strictly Business, Going Off, Biz Joint, Tougher Than Leather. You had Stetsasonic in Full Gear. You had all these like follow the leader.
We just did a show on that.
Yeah, we just did our '88 show.
We just did the '88 show.
Ultramagnetic.
Yeah. All that shit in '88, and then here comes Hammer. You know,
but I will say this: the one album that was not mentioned on our '88 show or on the whole timeline the following 2 weeks was MC Hammer.
Right.
You're right.
Let's not forget Two Live Crew. They came out during that time too, and that's a whole nother lane.
Yeah.
You know.
And again, that was the great part about it, because you could have all those lanes. Yeah. You know what I mean? You could have all those lanes. I didn't listen to Live Crew, but if I went to Miami in 1980, I goddamn sure would have snuck up in some type of Luke Skywalker concert. Yeah, so I can tell you that.
You wouldn't have had to. That's the culture. You wouldn't have had to.
Yeah, I would have been sneaking my ass right up in somebody's club like I was 21. Greg, what you got for your first joint?
I'm going with X, man.
Okay.
97. It was the shiny suit era. And here comes the dirtiest nigga in the world, barking on fucking records, taking it back to the early 90s, mid 90s, that grimy shit that I think some of us wanted to hear. You know, we talk about this all the time. The novice hip hop listener, they like, you know what I mean, whatever they hear on the radio, but us, the heads, we want, you know, some sort of foundational involvement. And X was that, man. X is the street. Period, point blank, and he filled that void beautifully. It's sad how he got taken out from a standpoint of music, not necessarily life, but I'm talking about the music, the drugs, and those things. But for those, I would say roughly 4 years, from 97 to 01, he filled that void, because nobody was out there filling it, with the exception of Rawkus later on in the decade. But it was a different way that they did it. X was straight grind. Straight tunnel. That's it.
Even how they shot that verse, first video was strategic, man. That was taking it back to the essence. Yeah,
I didn't understand it at the time. I've never been to the tunnel, so I didn't get it. You know, I mean, I loved the video, but I didn't get what the black and white was for. And then to hear, you know, years later why they did that, it's genius.
Yeah, and right, like the funny thing is, I don't know if you saw, I posted earlier what I was listening to at work, the Cypher Sounds 75 greatest tunnel bangers. I was rocking with that at work, so you know, all the tunnel bangers, like just a lot of DMX on there, a lot of Big, a lot of Locks, and you know, all that stuff, man.
Hide your chain.
I think the other thing with X is that he not only represented the grind, but he was a real nigga like that. You know what I mean? So when niggas is like, yo, X will rob you with a pit bull. Like, that nigga ain't even need a gun. He just rob you with his dog. You know what I mean? So I think it was also, he's got that music, but then he's also that in real life. And that kind of comes through in his music. It comes through in the videos. It comes through when you don't see X backing down from nobody. You know what I mean? So, you know, I think that also played a huge part too. Porsche, what you got for your next joint?
I think it's brilliant that Rec brought up DMX, because that's my second one. I think, and hear me out on this one, for me, I kind of make the link with DMX is also when Pac was gone, right? Yeah. So oftentimes, like, and I know it's really weird to make that connection because DMX is not California. He's not in the same kind of like even soundscape as Pac was. But where I think a lot of people gravitated towards X2 was that passion, was the realness, was the outspokenness that he had. The X was one of the first, if not the only artist who put out 2 full albums in the same exact year at that time, right? So, and you're looking at somebody like Tupac, who did, we all know, like volumes and volumes of work in the studio. So Did Pac put out 2 albums in a year? No, but he had the capability to do it, and X did it. So they actually are linked pretty closely in sort of like the persona or the demeanor that they had, and I think that was a fantastic thing. I don't think that this is a bad thing at all by any means. I think we needed that. We needed somebody to have that passion, to have that grime, to have that realness, to speak on things in a I don't care kind of way. And DMX was that person. And I absolutely love him. DMX is like my soulmate friend for life. So we share the same opinion on people in the music industry, and I just love DMX so much. So, yeah. Listen, DMX echoes me.
I heard you, P. I heard you, P. Dot. I heard you.
Kill doesn't understand. Killed you. He killed you. Are you making the connection?
I caught it.
Nah, you broke up for a second. I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I said DMX is my soulmate friend because we share the exact same opinion on a certain person.
Oh,
in the
right.
music
Yeah, that's all I said. That's all I said. And that's another one. Another reason why I always liked X is he was never political. X was going to tell you what he felt. It wasn't like, okay, let me think. If I say that, then that door may close, and if I say that, you know. So I always loved that about him. The next short I got up is Kanye's car accident. Now, somebody may disagree. I don't know. This is just, you know, my own personal thoughts on how everything was. Like, and I always felt this way. And then watching his Netflix joint about it and everything like that, it kind of not cements it, but it kind of gives a little more weight to it. I felt like a lot of people didn't really know who Kanye was. You know, you kind of got these mixtapes if you were up on them like that and everything like that. But I think that car accident, like, and then him doing Through the Wire, you know, and then with him literally rapping with his jaw wired shut, I kind of felt like that kind of is what, like, not, and again, I'm not saying this is what blew him up, but I think this is maybe what put a lot of pressure on Rockefeller to really start putting some money behind the project, because the story is they signed him, but this dude was still, like, it's amazing. If you haven't watched it, watch his Netflix thing. Even if you don't fuck with Kanye, this is the old Kanye. But I love it because Rockefeller wouldn't open a budget for him. So he was literally, like, ciphering gas, like, from other cars. Like, this nigga would, like, Pharrell would be like, look, you could get 10 minutes in the studio. You know? And he's, like, sneaking Ludacris in, like, okay, hurry up, say your part. Like, okay. Like, but then after the car accident and that picked up on MTV, he did the video for Through the Wire, and I really think that opened a lot of doors, because I mean it was just like perfect. And you even see in the video like Pharrell saying, like, getting it, like, yo, this nigga is rapping through the wire, and he named the song Through the Wire, and he's sampling Shaka Khan's Through the Fire. Like, it just all clicked for me, and I think that was that was the springboard that really helped him, you know, get on MTV, because I don't know if anybody's ever done that before. I don't know if anybody was like in an accident and did something like your jaws weren't shut and you're rapping like this. Like, nobody's ever done something like that, you know. So I think that kind of definitely pushed him the momentum. On the R&B side, like I said, two people can't exist at the same time. Aaliyah passed away in 2001. Beyonce drops her solo album in 2003. There's a void there. The R&B singer who can also dance. If we all knew Aaliyah was gonna dance. If you watch videos back in the day, it was, what was Aaliyah's choreography gonna be? You know, Are You That Somebody? Rock the Boat, all those things. She was the singer dancer for that time period. She passes away in 2001. Beyonce goes solo, drops her album in 2003. Wide open lane. The lane is wide open. Again, the same way Big died, here comes Jay. You know, Aaliyah dies, here comes Beyonce. Now, Ed, that may have been calculated. I wouldn't be surprised if Matthew Knowles was like, okay, now it's time to go solo, B. The lane is wide open for you. Rap, you hoop, there's nobody in the lane. Go for it, go dunk on something. You know, the lane is wide open. Why are you shooting threes if the lane is wide open? Now, that was probably strategic. Like, okay, you know, because I'm sure they were probably sitting back like, damn, can we really bang with Aaliyah? You know, Destiny's Child is big, but yo, Aaliyah, everybody love Aaliyah. You know, the women love Aaliyah, the dudes love Aaliyah. She and Romeo Must Die. She's doing movies now. Like, do we really want that Aaliyah heat? And it's like, well, she dead, so time to, you know. take that throw. I don't know if y'all watch Snowfall. I don't want to ruin the new episode.
No, don't say nothing.
I won't say nothing.
This week's episode.
But again, you know, to be the man, you sometimes have to take the man out. So again, you know, if you know, and you hate that it's death that does it. You hate that Big had to die for Jay to come. You hate that Aaliyah had to die and give up that spot. But I felt like Beyonce had the straight lane with that one. Rel, what you got for your next joint?
So I'm gonna go in a different direction, like kind of what you were saying at the beginning. Someone that pioneered everyone else to do something, and I'm gonna go with hip hop, fashion, and I'm gonna go Grand Puba, pioneering beyond sneakers and shoes, because you know you have running them with the Adidas, but clothes, like Grand Puba was that. He was that. You know, he was the first person to open my eyes to wearing all the low, to wearing the heel figure. Look at early Kanye with the book bag, the low jacket. That's Puba on Y'all TV Raps with Mary. You know what I'm saying? And then at that point, in my opinion, Puba was top 3 out at the time to me. So his influence is still being seen like today. Look at Kill Westbrook.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
This all Puba.
So
Polo, Hilfiger, Jabot.
Jabot's hanging baggy, Hilfiger on the top.
They owe Puba some money.
Yeah, they all do.
Market them cats like crazy.
And no hip hop artist would like name dropping the clothing like that. Like he let it be known, you know what I'm saying? He was known for that, and that style, he had his own style that everybody picked up on, and it just snowballed into everybody else. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people don't give him the credit he deserved when it comes to that. He was the originator of that to me. So that's
it's
why
funny. In that Netflix documentary, he's talking about he was in the hospital thinking, he was like, yo, I was in the hospital and I was just thinking, these niggas can't dress. I'm gonna be the best dressed rapper alive. You know what I mean? But like you said, early Kanye is nothing but Puba. With him with a preppy jacket on. That's right. It. Like that's it. And the thing I say about Puba, like I always tell people, at a time and point, he was the dopest MC walking the planet Earth. That could have been for a year, could have been for 6 months. I don't know what the time was. All I know is if something said featuring Grand Puba, I was listening. That's all that the fuck that I know. And then, bro, another piece is he was the only MC who I not only wanted to hear, but I wanted to see what he was wearing.
Yeah,
that was the other piece. That it was like, yo, I can't wait to see what he's rocking tonight, because I knew to this day, it's been 27 years, I'm still looking for that Alpine shirt he had on Yo MTV Raps with Worcester 411. I'm not spending $1,500 for it. I've seen it for $1,500. I'm not spending $1,500 on a shirt. That's like Gordon Gartrell on crack. But one day, that's like one of my like holy grails of polo is to find that shirt at a reasonable price. I'm not spending $1,500. What are you gonna say, Brett?
You gotta think too. So we got the Mary J. Blige, right? Who's on the album? Puba. He could have went and got anybody at that time. Shit, he could have put Big on it. He knew what he was doing when he put Puba on that album. Man. Like he knew what he was doing. Like y'all saying, Puba. For those that was not around, Puba was that nigga. Yeah. Period. Point blank.
Everything he touched, that joint on the Brand New Heavy joint was crazy. I always say that, yo, if the show ain't for dough, who makes the loot? Yep, who makes the loot? And that nigga said, yo, if the show ain't for dough, then you won't see the bro. The grand man just as usual. But let me slow down because I know I'm confusing y'all. Like, Puba was a problem. The only thing with Puba that eventually got played, because I was listening to my Best of Grand Puba mixtape, he just was doing too much sing-songy shit. Like, it got to a point where it was every poo is everything, and everything is poo. Like, nigga, stop with the stylistics. Like, that shit was cute with over like a fat rat. Nigga, you can't be doing, like, every other line was like some old him singing, and it was like, nah, bro. Like, that's getting played out. You know what I mean? But Pooh, definitely.
About timing, though, with Puba. I can't now, correct me, I don't know this for sure, but during that time period, was there any other hip-hop groups that had a kind of name as Brand Nubian that one of them broke off and went solo?
I don't think so, because the Brand Nubians dropped my junior year, so that's 91. I think he was the first one because Leaders was still together. Leaders was still together in 93, 94 before they broke up. So he may have been the first to break off from a group to go solo.
And I think that was another thing around timing, but not in a beneficial way, because I don't think nobody was ready for. We love Fubu, but I think during that time we didn't know how much we needed Sadat and Lord Jamal to love Fubu.
Here's the wild part, y'all. I love this album. Everybody else, I remember when it dropped, a lot of people felt like they didn't like it. And, here's the funny thing, y'all. Remember I told y'all how I can't come up with good names, and the name of my group was The Seeds? Like, you literally could see it right there that I would tag everything. Yes. It was, I was that horrible. Yeah, but I was telling them how I couldn't pick names. So it's like, they got the roots. Well, we the seeds. Like, you know what I mean? But yeah, like I thought, for people who don't get it, like that's cool, but right there with the jabots hanging baggy and just he'd have one part of the shirt tucked in and the other part hanging out. Just Fubu was just the guy, man. Fubu was the man right there. Eddie, what you got up next, man?
I got Sean Price, man. I think Sean Price came out at the right time. I mean, when I say came out, obviously, he was doing the Helter Skelter or whatever, but I'm saying when he went solo and like rebranded himself.
Right.
What was his first solo album? Like 2005. Like Jay retired in 2003. You know what I mean? Like there wasn't really anyone necessarily with a stranglehold on hip hop per se, right? I mean, Lil Wayne had his run. I feel like Ghostface was having his run, you know what I mean? Holding it down for Wu. So and that's a whole other thing. But I feel like Sean Price came in, right? And I think at the time they were re-releasing all the boot camp, but since Sean Price came back with a whole completely unique angle, you know what I mean? We're hearing like the new Smith and Wesson joints and the new Buckshot joints, and we're like, I think Buckshot was working with Ninth Wonder, and we were like, all right, that's cool. But Sean Price, like, he had that whole thing, like Kill always says, the brokest rapper you know what I mean? He was gutter, he was talking about he was gonna, punch you in the face. But then he also was witty with it, man. He was funny. Like he was serious, but he didn't take himself too serious, you know what I mean? And he still kind of gave you that feeling, of the golden era of the boot camp stuff. So I feel like he came in at the right time when we were kind of ready for someone to fill that void.
Yeah. Sure. Here's the wild part with that, and I agree with you wholeheartedly, because I remember my man Lunch telling me, being like, "Yo, you gotta hear this new Sean Price," and I'm like, the nigga from Helter Skelter, not rock, but rock like that nigga, like. Exactly. And then he gave it to me, and I was like, "Yo, this shit's incredible." I just wonder, like, when we're talking about this time, and I just wonder what it is, like I guess my question is, why did we need it? Like, did we know we needed somebody saying I'm the brokest rapper alive? Was it the timing that it was like everybody right now is saying I'm rich? Because that's what struck me. Yeah. He was like, he's saying that he's the brokest rapper alive. Because here's the thing, that could almost went the opposite direction. Because like everybody saying he's rich, who the fuck wants to hear about a broke nigga? You know what I mean? But I know for me that intrigued me when my man said, yeah, he's not going by Ruck no more. He's going by his name, Sean Price, and he's saying he's the brokest rapper alive. When he said that part, that's what made me want to listen, because I'm like, now you've intrigued me, because what is this whole brokest rapper alive type thing? Mm-hmm. But
yeah. And the other thing, like that era, like if you talk to heads about like, the best eras in hip hop, like that's generally considered like in that portion of the 2000s, like people like, nah, that's probably like some of the weakest years in hip hop.
Good point.
Yeah. But he came in and he brought something unique, and he was likable, and he was making dope music.
That nigga, I love that nigga.
he was likable because he was relatable to the majority of people, right? So when everyone's talking about being multi-gazillionaires, and not everyone is a multi-gazillionaire and can't do, you know, the yacht thing and the travel the world thing, here comes Sean Price, and he grounds everybody back. So, yeah, I mean...
Yeah, that nigga got a line, he said, I love selling Nicks at night. Go home to my daughter and watch Nick at night. He said something like, my wife something. I'm lying, that bitch can't cook. Like, it was just like, it was comedic. It was like, yo, did this nigga just say his wife? Like, this bitch can't cook. Like, yo. So, like you said, just, but again, perfect timing. Perfect timing.
Even his videos were hilarious, man.
Yeah. Yeah, the joints he would do would he be on the tennis court, or he'd be like, he was the dude who was, and again, I think, I know for me at least, I can only speak for me, you could see you don't fuck with Sean P. You could see that he wasn't the type of nigga that he would punch you in your face with no problem. But then he was silly as hell. And to me, those are the funniest niggas. Growing up in Philly, you love a funny nigga, but he'll knock you the fuck out, but he's funny. So it's not like he's that thug that's like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't smile, you know what I mean? Like, nah, like, yo, I'm funny. Like, you know, let's joke and stuff like that about Sean P. What do you say, we say Sean Price is nice, but something, I forgot the line he said about that. Like, and it was like, Jay couldn't even respond to that. Like, somebody else Jay may have responded to. He said something, I'll find the line, but he said something about
Sean Carter is nice, but Sean Price is the best or something.
Something to that extent. To that effect. And because what a lot of people don't know, Memphis Bleek is Sean Price's cousin, like his first cousin. So, yeah. So, you know, it's just wild because at that time, Jay would have took offense to that. It's like Jay even knew, like, let me leave Sean P alone. Like, I don't even want to fuck with that nigga. Like, I don't even want that smoke right now. So, he's almost on a MOP type level with me. Like, you just, the way you don't fuck with MOP, you don't fuck with Sean Price. Like, it's just, dude, there's certain people you don't mess with. You know, because again, MOP are the only people, they went through a Rockefeller breakup. They went through a G-Unit breakup. Nobody said nothing about MOP. You know, 50 is killing Game and 50 shooting at each other, Rockefeller, everybody beef, whatever. Niggas just let MOP, like, you out your contract, there you go. God bless you guys. Just, you know, don't kill us. So, again, like that. Ev, who you got up next, good brother?
My next person, man, is kind of interesting because it comes off the back of a group of people who wasn't a time period. They just was an onslaught. So we're talking about Wu-Tang, but the MC that I'm referring to is Ghostface. And when we talk about timing, I'm looking at Ghostface because during that time, we didn't really have a whole lot of storytellers. And Ghostface, you know, Slick Rick wasn't really there like that. And Ghost just came in and kind of really held that like storyteller role and just kept it going for a while. So I got to give it to Ghostface for that. And like I said, but he's coming off the backs of a group that really, for them, timing was a little bit of a factor, but it was more of like about their determination. And they really just changed the game in a sense. So you got this group that's changing the game, and this solo artist that comes out that just has great timing. And not that Ghost wasn't already good, but he, you know, and don't get me wrong, I'll be honest with y'all. When Ghost first came out, I was not a fan of Ghost nor Ray because I didn't know what the fuck they was talking about. And then when they did interview, and then Ghost was like, I don't know what the fuck I was talking about. It was even more of a like, if you don't know what you're talking about, fuck, how I'm supposed to know what you're talking about? But nonetheless, I still like Ghost because of his, you know, his storytelling capabilities was still like pretty amazing.
It's funny that y'all said Ghost and Sean P back to back because I always look like they follow similar destinations. And what I mean by that is, I always said if I told somebody in 1994 at the height of the boot camp clique that Sean P would be the one holding the flag at the end, niggas would be like, kill you out your goddamn mind, nigga. You got Buckshot, you got Texas Steel, you rock better than rock, you know, String Wonder. Same thing with Wu-Tang. If I would have told you in 1993 that Ghostface, niggas would be like, what rhyme does he even have? Like, I don't even know his rhymes on the first album, but Ghost was the one at the end who was still carrying the flag. Both of them have very unique styles. They have their own style. There's no, the way P would rhyme, the way Ghost would rhyme, like nobody rhymed like them. So it's just, it's always mind blowing to me that the two people who you would think were the least important of the group were the ones at the end of the day that were. And Buck and Drew have talked about how, like, yo, Sean P saved us. They saved Duck Down Records. Like, Sean P is the one who saved, you know, and I don't know if RZA said it publicly, but shit, we all know after all that immobility and all the Takao 50,000s and all that other shit, like, niggas was still always waiting for a new Ghost album. You know what I mean? So, just funny y'all both said that back to back like that. Greg, who you got up next?
I don't know if people think about this cat like that, man, as far as filling a void, man. Kendrick Lamar. Yeah. Think about 2012. 2012 was dead in the water.
Dead in the fucking water. Wasn't nobody rhyme about shit.
Dead in the water.
I'm off with it. My emotions ain't coming out.
Hey, dead in the water. And what I mean by that is from a lyricist standpoint, right? Like, not saying that a certain region does not have lyricism, but lyricism that everybody can gravitate towards. Good Kid, Mad City, I don't think nobody expected anything from the album. Hell, nobody probably knew who he was, right? Comes out with the album, and then you have a bunch of followers as far as influence, right? You look at a Mick Jenkins, you look at all of these artists from that stature, he fills that void because there is nothing there from that level. You look at production, DJ Dahi, DJ Khaled, not the other Khaled, but it's another cat. His name is DJ Khaled. Sorry, pronunciation is off. But I think he filled a void, man, and ran with it. I mean, you look at it now, people are still looking for another Kendrick album, and it's not coming until he decides to drop it. But I think he filled a serious void in 2012. It was refreshing, honestly, because the South had a fucking chokehold on it. Yeah. Like a straight chokehold in 2012. I remember doing clubs in 2012, and I don't think I played, honestly, I don't remember playing anything outside of anything that sounded Southern until his album dropped. The South had it, and for him to come out with the music he came out with, I think filled a void, a refreshing void that we needed.
Yeah, I don't know. Let me say that too, Rick, because one of the things that when Kendrick came out, what made me think about was there's a, like, you know, this thing goes in a cycle, goes in a circle. There's a time when it's nothing but production, there's a time when it's nothing but the flaws, and there's a time when it goes back to the lyrics and back to the MCs. And Kendrick took that shit right back around.
Took it right back.
And that's right back. Very impressive, and it made me realize, like, oh, this shit is in cycles. Like, it's not gonna be one way all the way through. It's gonna have, you know, everybody got an age to do their thing.
That's possible.
Look back to that actual lyricism age.
Yeah. He made motherfuckers bring their pen.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Eddie, what you gonna say?
I remember when Section 80 came out. I think Section 80 came out the year before, whatever, or maybe 2 years before. And I remember hearing that. I'm like, damn, like, it was a really strong project. And I was like, man, this kid got potential. Little did I know how much he was going to blow up with Good Kid, Mad City. You know what I mean? I was like, you know, man, this is a kid to watch. And then next thing you know, he's on top of the world, man.
See, it was backwards for me. I didn't hear Section 80 until after I heard Good Kid, Mad City. I didn't know who Kendrick Lamar was. Like, my homie, he's from LA, he's from West Covina. And he was like, he brought it to me in the middle of a set. It's like, he gave me the CD and was like, I don't know what the fuck you got to do to put this in your shit right now, but you need to listen to this while you playing tonight and play something. Bro, I played, hold up, what's the joint? The Pour Up Drink joint. I played that. I played that shit in like the middle of the set just to see what would happen. Crickets, motherfuckers went this way. Played that shit 3 months later, the whole fucking club. Motherfuckers jumping off the fucking walls 3 months later. And that it's just crazy how much of a void I think it filled. Yeah.
I think the other thing too, and like you said, Rick, just the spillover of people trying to sound like Kendrick. For a while, I couldn't listen to your guy, Mick. Is that his name, Mick Jenkins or whatever?
Jenkins, yeah, Mick Jenkins is fire. I
couldn't listen to that because it sounded too much like Kendrick. But now I'm at the same point where I was with D'Angelo, with Chico and Myron, because I'm listening to this new Earth Gang.
The Earth, and that's a spillage. Earth Gang is a straight spillage. Earth Gang,
but I'm listening to the new album and I'm like, I like this, but it's very Kendricky. Like, you know, and I'm thinking that's why I'm liking it so much. Yeah. Because it reminds me of Kendrick, and I don't have a new Kendrick album. So
that's like with D Smoke.
Right. No, that's who it was. D Smoke that you was trying to put me on to.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna go back and listen because now I'm in the mood for something that sounds like Kendrick. At that time I wasn't, probably because, you know, Damn was out, or I don't know the years, they all get muddled together. But it's almost like when you be like, yo, man, we ain't been out to get pizza in a couple of months. Like, I want some pizza. Like, that's how I almost feel like at that time I was good. I ain't want no pizza. We just had pizza. Like, I don't want, like, I'm listening to Kendrick, so I don't want it. I can't listen to this D Smoke because he sounds too much like it. But because I haven't had no Kendrick in so long, it's like, you know, well, fuck it. We can't go to our favorite pizza spot, so let's go to the other spot because I'm in the mood for some pizza now. So I definitely got sat back into that. Portia, you got up next.
I got Nicki Minaj, kind of. So I've got Lil Kim filling a void, and then Nicki Minaj kind of coming in and filling that. Right. Now, it's kind of like, it seems that way anyway, because although Nicki writes her own stuff and Lil Kim didn't.
Do tell, she does?
Well, that's what I've heard. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not going to speak on it. This is what I've heard. But anyways, there may be some little differences, but I think overall there was a void for the same image that Lil Kim had and the same kind of, you know, subject matter that she would rap about in hip hop. Like, people needed that. The fellas needed that. The women needed that. I think it was just one of those things. And she literally came in and took, like, she's very successful in the lane that she's in. And I think that she did kind of play with the formula a little bit. I don't think Lil Kim was as maybe poppy as Nicki is. However, Nicki also does rap, and she has rap. So it's kind of one of those things to me. I feel like she definitely did fill that void that Lil Kim didn't have. And I also think maybe that's why they were sort of beefing and were pitted against each other. I don't know. Again, I'm not. Yeah. Go ahead, Eddie.
Yeah, I got something to add. And the reason why they were beefing is that Nicki was blatant as hell. Like you're saying, oh, I was a little. No, she was blatant. Because, you know, Lil Kim.
I just do not want any Nicki.
I don't care. Give me all the smoke, all you barbs, and at that point, Nicki Minaj calling her Barb, or calling her fans Barbs and calling herself Barbie.
Right.
Like that was Lil Kim first. So calling herself the Black Barbie, the poses. You know, Nicki Minaj jacked Lil Kim's whole pose. Like, there's some YouTube video out there where you can see all the ways that Nicki Minaj jacked Lil Kim's posties, swag, whatever you want to call it. Like, from the wigs to the imagery and all that. Like, it was blatant. So, man, I'm not mad at Lil Kim for being pissed. I'd be pissed too. Like, and she wasn't showing homage.
But was it the fact? That's what I was about to say. Was she like not paying homage? Was she like trying to act like she didn't get this style from Lil Kim?
No, it wasn't homage.
Exactly.
Yeah, she was not paying homage. She was not paying homage.
Whatever it was not homage. That's for sure.
Okay.
That's why you hear more static between those two than you do between her and a Cardi B, because Cardi B is like, hell, bitch, if it wasn't for Lil Kim, my nut ass wouldn't be here. You know what I'm saying? Like, Cardi is straight be like, nah, I'm thankful for all that shit. Nicki Minaj is like, nah, bitch, this me. Like, nobody did none of this shit prior to me, and it's like, okay. All right.
Yeah, I have no idea what goes on with Nicki Minaj and that whole world, so that's why I'm asking. The next person I got up, again, a piece of big dying, is Shine. To me, Shine does not get signed by Puff if Big is still alive. Like, it's like, you know, from what I heard, it was like niggas in Brooklyn was like, yo, we got this dude, he sounds just like Big, and then Puff came to the barbershop and heard him and signed him, and next thing you know, we got the Bad Boy song out and everything like that. So, and I mean, the crazy thing is there was also a time in gospel, because there was a gospel rapper named BBJ who sounded and looked like Big. Because I remember this around the time I first got saved and was going to church, and all my people was in church would be like, yo, you need to stop listening to hip hop, get on this gospel rap. I was like, oh, that shit corny. I don't give a fuck, nigga. Like, yo, I don't care. I can love God all day, bro, but this whole God is good, God is great, this is whack, man. And my man Shabal used to just sit in my car all day and just play these stuff. He'd be like, what you think? I'm like, nigga, if you don't get this whack shit out of my car, I'm like, yo, let me play you something. You hear that beat? Find me somebody who got a beat like that. And then maybe he's like, but yo, this the cross movement, they from your town, Philly. I swear to God, everybody out there watching, look what camera I'm looking right here. Don't fucking, I know where I'm from. It doesn't matter if somebody is from Philadelphia. If they're whack, I don't give a fuck. Like, niggas be like, yo, but they from Philly. Like, I don't care. Like, nigga, I'm not built like that. Bro, when you let them know Philly niggas me, if you whack, you whack. It don't matter. And they love everybody who listen to gospel rap will be like, yo, but the cross movement is from Philly. Nigga, I don't care if they're from Providence Street, nigga. I don't matter. I don't.
Philly has the hardest critics. We criticize everything.
I don't care where they're from. That's great, you know, but all that to just say that, like, everybody was trying to replace Big. Like, you know, like, even the gospel people were like, yo, this guy BBJ, big, fat, dark-skinned dude sounds like Big. So, you know, again, there's no way that I think if Big is alive. There's no way Puffy is even looking for somebody who sounds like Big. You know what I mean? And Gorilla Black. Like, there's no reason for me to sign somebody who's still alive. You know, and Puff has always been trying to do that because Puff, for a time, was trying to sign Rick Ross and Nicki Minaj under Bad Boy and make them the new Big and Lil Kim. He was trying to get that. So again, it's just like how I'm always like, yo, why can't we just come up with a new idea? Can't we do that? Do we have to get a Transformers number 29? Do we have to get, you know, the Fantastic Four rebooted for the 5th time? Can't we just move on to another fucking comic? So do we have to get another Big and Lil Kim? Can't you just sign somebody new who's nice?
And Puff wanted Loon to be like Mace, the next Mace.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Great point. Yeah, because he's right, because he did want him to be the new Mace.
The reason I'm laughing is because on that picture on Twitter, someone said Here's
the thing.
Someone said, I have to tell the group, someone said under that picture, how come we've never seen you and Loon in the same room? And I just lost it.
Yo, but here's the problem. Here's the problem with that. Ever since Loon got out with his beard, I've heard the same thing. This is the first time I've heard it with just the goatee. Because I had the goatee back then. Because ever since Loon has come out with the beard, everybody is like, yo, Kill, why didn't you tell us you signed a Bad Boy, nigga? You know, So it's funny that even with that one picture, I didn't know I was going to get that much. I thought I looked cool in the picture, but obviously, I guess, you know, it's just jokes 101 on the timeline today. So, yeah, I've been called everything from a broke jazz musician.
Just to bring it back, I was going to say, I think the reason why Big left so much of a void in so many different areas was because he made it look so effortless. And Puff, I think, didn't attribute enough of Big's like entire image to him, like to himself. He thought he created that, and he didn't. He tried and he couldn't recreate it because those elements that made Big so likable and so charismatic and so effortless was innately Big. It was not manufactured by Puff. And I wish to God somebody had just shooken Puff and been like, bro, like stop. Like,
but again, but Porsche, what's the goal? The goal is to sell records. The fact is, Big was my biggest selling artist.
And I'm glad Puff failed. I'm glad
but
failed over and
over. Right, but that's why Puff isn't thinking about let me try to replace the personality. Like, it's literally let me just hope and pray that people will listen to Shine, hear Biggie, and buy the record.
I would honestly argue that Puff thought that he could create Big, and that Big was a created entity and not innately himself. And I don't know, I mean, to a certain degree, you can create an image and you can sell an image, but I think with Big it was very different. And maybe that's why people think I stan Big, is because I just think he was so much larger than that. He wasn't you couldn't create a Big, you just couldn't, because the things you love about Big is not.
I mean, here's the thing: you
was
really
not manufactured.
when you have people of that talent level, it's like Jay told Dame, you made Jay make another one. You know what I mean? And you can't, because it's like somebody saying, "Yo, Rack, drafted Steph Curry." You'd be like, "Nigga, where am I find it? Steph Curry? Do y'all seen the shit this nigga is doing?" Like, yo,
how you think I'm gonna catch the shit?
Yeah, like, yo, you can't. There's certain people you can't recreate. You know what I mean?
And it was the same thing when they tried to recreate Tupac and freaking Ja Rule. To a degree.
Well, here's the thing.
Nah, I mean,
oh god, we're not doing Porsche. No, but here's the thing. But again, Porsche, it's about filling the void of the look, not the person, because Ja Rule was never going to be anything like Pac, but he could fill the void of being the dark-skinned, bald-headed person with a bandana on.
Right.
And Ja Rule ran the summer for like 4 years. So again, I don't think it's about recreating the person. Again, it's what your goal is. Most of these moguls' goals, because you're naming people like Big, Irv Gotti, all these record label heads who are at that time in competition with each other.
You mean
like
Puff and Irv?
Puff. I'm sorry, Puff and Irv, Puff, Irv, the Rough Riders. All of them have this. Yeah, we brothers, but nigga, at the end of the day, I want my name higher than your name on the Forbes list that comes out at the end of the year. So none of these people are worried about like making a person who's good. We just want to sell a shit ton of records. Pac dead, this dark skinned little nigga, shave your head, get a bandana on, let's go. You know what I mean?
And I'm glad they failed. I honestly.
Well, I can't say Ja failed in the realm of making money and selling records.
Right.
Herb was not trying to recreate a Black Panther person who's going to speak for the people. Herb wasn't trying to recreate that. Herb was just trying to sell some fucking records. Again, all these people care about is selling records. They don't care about shit else but selling a boatload of records. Shine don't look nothing like Big. I never really thought Shine really sounded like Big like that. Like, I thought your old Drew sounded like Nas. Like, when niggas first told me your old Drew, my man hit me and was like, yo, this is some Nas shit. He's trying to get off the Def Jam. Yo, this is his alias, your old Drew. This is how I heard your old Drew. And I'm listening like, it sound like Nas, but this ain't Nas. Like, this don't got the same flow. So I didn't even get that from Sean. I mean, I don't know. I just never got the whole Big thing, you know. And I never even heard the first album. I never even brought it because I was like, I can't even buy this based off the fact that Puff is trying to sell him as Sean. It could be a 5 mic album for all I know. I just never had the urge to listen to it. And no one in the past 20 years has ever said, nigga, you didn't hear Sean's first album? That shit is incredible. So there was no reason for me to listen to it.
Like, what Shine was missing, Shine didn't have to bounce, man. You know what I mean? And that's why, like, you know, it comes down to the Jamaican roots, man, because, you know, Heavy D had that bounce. Big had that bounce. You know what I mean?
But isn't Shine something? He's something.
Belize.
Like,
he's from Belize.
Yeah, he's from Belize. Okay. I don't know nothing about it. Here's another thing about everybody watching. I suck in geography, so I don't even know.
Belize is nothing like Jamaican.
Yeah,
okay, thank you. That's all you have to say. I appreciate
roots
that.
will be nothing like Jamaican roots whatsoever.
Right.
So
because he tried. I mean, that first single with Barrington Levy, you see where they were going with. I actually like that song, by the way.
I do. I was gonna say I do like that joint.
Yeah, but you see the direction that they were going with him. You know,
that one and the second one he had.
And the second one too.
2 songs with Barrington Levy.
Yeah, but I think Eddie made a good point. He didn't have the, you know how you, like, Biggie just knows how to glide on a beat, like on anything. You know what I'm saying? Sean didn't have that. Sean was more like hardcore, but he couldn't. If you put Sean on One More Chance, he would sound out
the
of
same way he sounded on Bad Boy. Like he can't. Yeah.
He don't have it, and like, to piggyback off Porsche, like, I think Puff didn't take into consideration the elements that Big himself brought to why he was so light. You know what I'm saying? You might have had a part in, like, picking some beats and making him rhyme over Juicy and all that, but Big has something in him himself that made him, you know what I'm saying? That's why you can't put that formula on another person and expect it to thrive. You know what I'm saying?
It's why everybody failed at it when Nas was trying to do songs like "You Owe Me Back." Like, people were trying, people were trying to follow. It's Aunt Maybelline's fucking macaroni and cheese, and everybody's trying to make it, and nobody could ever do it really successfully, I guess, until Jay. On the R&B tip, I got Dru Hill. They dropped in 96. Jodeci's last album was in 95. To me, Cisco sounds just like KC. It kind of was like there's a Jodeci boy. Jodeci's last album was 95. I think they didn't drop another album till like 2015 or something, you know. So there was a 20-year void in there of Jodeci. And I felt like Cisco sounded just like KC. They kind of, Dru Hill kind of came in with that Tell Me What You Want. And it kind of just ran right there. And they didn't have any competition because Jodeci never came back out. So that was that. Rel, what you got for your next one?
So I got this collective feeling of void and is just running away with it. I got Griselda.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? The type of music they were making, like you had to like be going back and listening to something old. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go back and listen to Cuban Links. You know what I'm saying? Like you wasn't getting that type of music current. You know what I'm saying? And I like that's why like their fan base like were probably fiending for some music like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's why. And then it was upon them to keep just flooding the. You know what I'm saying? To keep flooding you with music. You know what I'm saying? Because these weren't young dudes. You know they were already in their 30s. When they came out, you know what I'm saying? So they ain't got no time to waste. You feel what I'm saying? So they putting that music out there and it kind of just blew up from where it started. But it was a void for that type of hip hop at the time that they came out. We wasn't getting that shit. Like we was not like maybe one or two people that, you know what I'm saying, we weren't getting that type of hip hop.
Not that shit.
Not that, yeah.
not that shit.
Not the
come on the record. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, as far as we had Push with the drug rap, but we didn't have all of that. You know what I'm saying? There was a void in there. I think they just slid right in and boom. You know what I'm saying? Look where we at now.
I think the other thing with them, bro, because that was on my list too. I think we had some that was like that, but the thing that it's kind of like what y'all are saying about Big, Conway and Benny are dope MCs. Like that's a huge piece too that falls in there. Like to me, those are two of the dopest MCs right now walking planet Earth, in my opinion. Like Con and Benny are both incredible MCs. Like I'm not saying that like Big and Jay, but I believe Conway and Benny have the ability to make a 5-mic album every time out. They're that dope lyrically. So was the fact that we're not getting that music, but we also have two incredible MCs who are doing it. And then along with that, they opened up the door for everything upstate. Because before Griselda, if you would have said, yo, kill, listen to this nigga, he from Buffalo, I would have been like, nah, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. There's every damn rapper from Buffalo. There are people that I've seen on the timeline, they're Buffalo MC. And if they sound good, hey, you looking for beats, man? Because right now, everybody will fuck with a Buffalo MC. You know what I mean? Same thing. Stove God is from Syracuse. Do you know that in 1995, let somebody say you from Syracuse, New York, nigga, go play basketball. Go find Jimbo Heim or Jimbo Heem or somebody. Nigga, go play basketball. We don't want to hear you rap. But after Griselda, you could say you from Niagara Falls. You could say you from Buffalo. You could say you from Syracuse. You could say you from Peekskill. You could be like, and ears are gonna be open. They did for Buffalo what Wu did for Staten Island, because before Wu was Staten Island, wasn't nobody. What Ray say now? Everybody's family from Shaolin. Like before, even if your parents was from Staten, you was like, oh yo, they yeah. Now it's like you wearing that on your chest, like nah, Shaolin, nigga. You know what I mean? So.
I just left up that way in August when I went to go finish the album with my little brother. And we went out, bro. It's a scene up there, hungry little MCs, bro. Yeah. Hungry. That's where Anthony's from up that way. Hungry.
I gotta give it to Griselda though. Not that I know their catalog all that well, but a lot of times, especially during this conversation, we're talking about the timing and people getting in. Not too many people. The thing I like about Griselda is they told you, like, yo, this shit nobody was doing this, and we came back to do this shit right here. Like they let it be known what their actual, like what their plan was and why their plan was in action. And I really tip my hat to them cats, because a lot of people, they fill the void, but they don't say that they're filling the void. They just come and just do it. Where Griselda just told you, like, yo, this is what we're doing.
And a crazy thing about them, like like Benny and Conway, like it's people that think Benny is better than Conway, and there's people that think Conway is the best one. Right. And then there's people that think Westside make the best albums. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they're like strong all through that. You know what I'm saying? So,
no, dope pick. Eddie, what you got up next?
Yo, the next one I got, I know Kendrick was already mentioned, man. I'm going J. Cole, man. And I think the void that J. Cole filled is, it may sound crazy, but yo, like everyone was looking for a Nas successor, you know what I mean? And people were like placing that label on MCs, like, oh, you're the next Nas, you're the next Nas. And J. Cole got that, but then J. Cole also got that Nas cosign. And I think that was it. And you know,
Cass was saying that J. Cole was the next Nas.
They were trying to, I heard, you know, I heard like maybe not like the style. I feel like stylistically, you know, Elzai has elements closer to Nas, maybe not, you know, subject matter wise, but you know, in some cases he does. But you know, people were kind of looking for that, and I kind of feel like J. Cole kind of filled that, at least for like the younger generation, you know what I mean, to kind of champion someone's like, oh yeah, you know, we have someone who's lyrical, we got, you know, this and that, because you know, Kendrick, a lot of people don't feel like Kendrick is as lyrical, you know, for whatever reason. And you know, maybe because he don't do that rapidy rap stuff that J. Cole does, you know, from time to time. And you know, Kendrick is more conceptual, you know what I mean? He's conceptual, comes up with these, you know, albums, tells stories and all that. You know, J. Cole does the rapidy rap stuff, and you know, he got the flow and he got this and that. So, you know.
All right, no doubt. Yeah, what you got up next, man?
One of the last ones I got, because I think everything else that I had here got spoken on, is Lauryn Hill. So when Lauryn Hill dropped, most of myself, most heads was like, we about to get this MC.
Quick question: are you saying the Miseducation Lauryn Hill or the
Miseducation Lauryn? Yeah. I think her coming in and doing like more of an R&B album than a hip hop album, it's kind of like, oh, okay. And in that there was I'm not gonna say there was a void that was filled, but there was a thing that we didn't get. We didn't have a whole lot of MCs doing a whole lot of singing. And she came and just was like, understood what was that thing that wasn't there, and went in and grabbed it and you know, ran it to death pretty much, even to now. So yeah, so she was my last one. As far as timing is concerned, because the timing was good. There was already beef with the Fugees, and she came out from a woman's perspective and gave a whole woman's perspective in a way that a lot of women could actually adapt to. But for most of the men, she was still that killer MC that we all know. So yeah,
she still owe me a fucking rapping album because and I don't want the shit now. I want that rapping album when you was in your rapping bag. Like, I know everybody loved when she spit on Nas and shit. I was like, that's cool, but I want, and we'll never get it. Same way with 3000. I wanted him when he was in his bag. Like, I don't want you to rap now. I want you like Rec. We want Penny before Penny got hurt. You know what I mean? That's the Penny we wanted. We don't want the Penny after the surgery. We want the Penny pre-surgery.
About Phoenix Penny. I don't want Phoenix Penny. I want
Orlando Penny. You know what I mean? So that's the only thing. So love Miseducation, but goddamn, I just wanted, you know, I wanted that album, man. I wanted that rapping album. Rec, what you got for your last joint, or if you whichever one you want.
I was gonna say, I think we all wanted that rapping joint from Lauryn. It was needed, and she missed the motherfucking mark. Big time.
I would really want to know, like, I would really want to ask, like, why did you choose to go that route? Like, why didn't you go the route of The Love Below and give us a double album? I mean, if she could just be like, nigga, I ain't feel like rapping, and that would be,
and that would have been
that would be a legit answer. I don't got no beef with that, but I just want to know, like, it's like, did you just not feel like rapping? Were you just just why? Because we've never gotten the explanation. At least I haven't seen it. The explanation of to why we never got.
I don't know if we will.
Yeah.
So my last one is not so much necessarily like a rapper for their influence, but for what they did that influenced everybody fucking else to do the same thing, thinking they was with the same fucking results. Fifth, the mixtapes.
Yeah.
The motherfucking mixtapes. Bro, if you had the plug to G-Unit mixtapes from 2001-ish to 2002, you had some skin in the game, bro. Those mixtapes were wildfire. At the time, I had never seen nothing like that. This dude's taking people's songs that are hot and making his own shit. And I'm getting requests in the club to play Got Me a Model as opposed to the RL joint, Got Me a Bottle. Like, cats wanted the whole other joint. They didn't even want the actual song. They wanted what he was spitting on that joint, man. For him to take that and run that into a whole career to where he don't even rap, with the exception of his shows, that shit is genius, man. Because motherfuckers are still trying to pass me a mixtape, and I'm like, nah, fam. Let me hear an album. Let me hear an album. I don't want to hear a mixtape. In that sense, and that's the core of what people are doing. That whole mixtape to an album thing. That was Fifth. That was Fifth and G-Unit. They was doing a mixtape every other month, and that shit turned into stardom for them dudes.
Let me ask you this, Ev, since you're the resident MC. Is it easy for you to write rhymes like that? Because I've always wondered that. So, Rec, when you're talking about you're rapping all these mixtapes, you know, I'm like, and again, because I don't rap, so I don't know like how long it takes, or is it easy, or what. It just seems like trying to do mixtapes every month and trying to do an album, like does your pen work like that, Ev? Like, can you create at a high level all the time? You know what I mean?
I'll be honest, every MC is different, so I don't write that fast, and I'm known not to write that fast. At the same point in time, I used to write and not write stuff down. There was just cats that did that too. But I think every pen is different. There are some people that can kick out work in a rapid fire way that way. Now, some of them is dope. Some of them sound like they just kicked it out real quick, unfortunately. Right. But I feel like every MC is different when it comes to that. And, you know, in my study, I don't know if it's because of the life that you're living, like how much you got to say. There's a lot of different perspectives to form around it, but definitely, you know, there are some cats that I know that are dope. I feel like Classic is like that. Classic will spit verses out, and them shits will be dope. And he'll just, you know, and he'll be on the next one, on to the next one, on to the next one. And then like I say, you have some cats that'll do that, and it just sound like, yo, you need to slow down and go back and reread, or you know, that shit you wrote because it wasn't that good. So I think I don't think there's not a one size fits all when it comes to MCs, because everybody is different, and I think everybody's rooted in their inspiration different. Mine was very much Philly, so you know, for somebody else it might be the cats that they with. Somebody else might be South over here. So it all depends on what's fueling you, and then just the type of MC you are. For me, I couldn't kick no shit out that fast.
It's funny you say that, because the part that fuels you, I guess that may be key. So like you said, if it is 50 G-Unit, if it's Queens, if it's New York, the niggas you around, and we around each other every day, and then we're able to, you know, bounce things off of each other. So yeah, it's like I said that about when Tribe broke up. I was like, yo, you know, people may not think it's a big deal, but if the way you made the first 3 Tribe albums was we all hang out in Queens, we all link up at the studio, we all do it this way, and then Fife moves to Atlanta, and Tip is over here making beats, and you're over there, and Ali's over there doing that, and we kind of just come together just in the studio, where some of the magic may have been what happened before we got to the studio. You know, that made the music so great.
That's one of the points that I like to touch on too, because it's like a lot of times people think MCs get older and they just lose something. It's not that. It's what you were doing in your 20s, how you were living. You're not doing that shit no more. So the stuff that was fueling you, hanging out with your peoples every day, If that shit was fueling your pen, and now you're older, you got a family, you're not hanging out with cats like that, so your pen game is going to reflect that until you find enough to source it. So yeah, it's real, man. The sourcing part is very real for any kind of art, any kind of artist, whatever you're being sourced by, it's going to actually, you're going to need that. You know, that's why I'm like, sometimes with MCs, you know, they get on and they get hot and they move to the suburbs and they stay in the suburbs. It's probably nice out there, but if what you were fueled by was your neighborhood, it's going to be hard for you to write the same way you did out in the suburbs. It's magnetic, you know.
It's funny. DJ Iran, we were talking one day, and he was like, "Yo, man, you ever peep how Peach rocks? Beats be all beautiful. He's out there in fucking Mount Vernon. You know what I mean?" Nice. He was like, but then you hear Primo's beats and they're grimy and grungy. That nigga's in Brooklyn somewhere. You know, he's in D&D. So, and I was like, yo, I never thought about it like that. Like, yo, like you're saying, your environment, you kind of make what you see, and like you said, and I think that's the key of any artistic person understanding where you get your oomph from. My oomph for making beats a lot of times comes from when I hear something that's incredibly dope. Because if I'm very cocky about anything, it's my beats. So if I hear something, I'm like, oh, that nigga. In my mind, it's like, oh, that nigga coming for my ass. That nigga don't know who the fuck. Alchemists don't know who the fuck I am. You know what I mean? But for me, that's what fuels me. When I hear something crazy, I'm like, oh, time to go turn on the machine. The funny thing, my man Shy, and we all know Bezo, they got influenced when they would hear whack stuff. Because they were like, I need to come save the day. Like, yo, hip hop is falling down and I need to get up. So, like you said, we're all fueled by something different. I hear something whack, I'm like, nigga, I'm good. Shit, my shit crazy. You know what I mean? But then when I hear something crazy, I'm like, oh no, I need time to turn this back on. So, like you said, we're all fueled by something else. The problem is a lot of people don't know what fuels them. So a lot of time, that's why they run out of fuel, because they don't know.
They don't know, and especially for MCs, you gotta know what's fueling your pen. If you don't take time to really study that shit, I'm gonna do a shameless plug. We're talking about this in the theater. I'm doing a theater piece on lyricism called Prophet. Kill's a part of it. We'll talk more about that shit later. But that's one of the things we're talking about is like you gotta know what's fueling you, because if you're not aware of that and you think it's just you, and you put you in a whole different situation, you're not going to write the same way you write. You're going to look at your rhymes and be like, well, is it good or is it not good? I don't know what this is anymore. It's because you kind of lost your sourcing.
And the thing is, that's when a lot of people quit. Because it's like, my shit ain't good no more. I'ma quit. It's just like driving a car. If you don't know that you have to put gas in your car's gonna stop, and you're gonna be like, yo, what the fuck? You know what I mean? I don't know why it's not running. Okay, well, fuck it. Then I have to buy a new car. You gotta know what fuels you.
Lyricism is a mind-based thing. It has nothing really to do with your body. It's not like your body's getting older. You can't write no more. No, if anything, you probably have more vocabulary. It depends on what you do in life. If you're reading, you're going to have more vocabulary. You're going to have more of everything. But if you don't have the proper sourcing, if your sourcing has changed and you haven't figured out how to redirect the thing that's fueling you, then you're going to be a victim to it.
It's so funny because me and Ev always talk about when I moved into this house, I was worried. Because I'm worried about my space. I'm very picky about where I make beats and how my speakers are set up and how the sound feels. So it's kind of like when I first moved here, I was like, oh man, like, let me try to cook something up. And before I got something dope, I was nervous, like, yo, am I gonna? Because your environment plays such a big factor in what you hear, the way you hear your music and everything like that. So that's just
most MCs have a lot of respect for cats from different regions because I know if you in LA, if you in Chicago, if you in Toronto, whatever that shit is that's making you do what you do, that shit is important. So your region plays such a big part. Like I want to see what fuels certain cats in Chicago. I want to see what fuels certain cats in Detroit. Because I'm like, yo, I can see the parallels in the shit that fuel me. So yeah, man, it's just a respect thing.
And it's funny because that's what I said with that album Common, Nobody's Smiling, that was supposed to be about Chicago, that him and No ID needed to go live in Chicago.
You can't do that.
Now you can't make an album about, me and Rel can't sit here and make an album about Philly living in fucking Maryland.
Nope.
If we decided we're gonna do an album about Philly, me and Rel would have to be like, all right, nigga, we gonna rent an Airbnb for about 3 months. We gonna hang out. We gonna be out in these streets. We gonna be out here. We gonna breathe Philly again. Because Philly, I've been lived in Philly since 1992 when I left to go to Morgan. Nigga, it's 2022.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you have to be there. So that's so important. All the people out there, the creative people, here's some game for y'all. Yeah. You got to find out what drives you, where you get that. Because if you don't, you're going to be lost. And you're going to be trying to do a whole bunch of different things to try to find out what can fuel you to do it. You got to figure out what it is that you need. And if you need to be in Philly, then that's what Rakim said once. Whenever he gets writer's block, he just goes out and lives some more. Mm-hmm. And that's what it's about. When I'm working on a script and I get writer's block, I go to this Popeyes. Anybody in DC knows I go to the Popeyes on motherfucking Martin Luther King Avenue. I sit down there and I eat lunch for about 2 hours and I ear hustle all the conversations. I come up with new characters. I come up with new plots. I come up with new stuff. And I go to the hood. I don't go to the one in Northwest. I don't go to the white one in Northeast. I go to the hoodest Popeyes. Somebody said, yo, just get on the A train. If you in New York, ride the A train all day. Just take a day off from work. Take a day off from work and you ride the A train all day and just air hustle. Don't have no headphones on. Just be, I guarantee you may be able to write a whole album just from riding the A train back to front.
From Far Rock to Harlem, baby. Far Rock to Harlem. We got you.
Philly uptown, I would just walk the blocks. Just because that's the shit that was like seeing just people's movement, what people's conversation was, the slang that people like, the little, like all that stuff is fueling what it is that I'm doing, especially if it's fall too and the weather is like kind of risky, kind of cool.
See, that's the thing too. Like us being from the East Coast, that robbery weather, as we call it, man, that's a whole nother chemistry that brings to your creativity. It's like on the ATL, that episode Robin season. Like the whole season was based off of that. And that's a whole nother, like, speak to just the chemistry of who we are as creatives and artists. Like, you need that.
And so much of it, too, goes back to the barbershop. A lot of niggas can just go hang out. Where'd they find Shine? In the barbershop. Where'd Swiss come and meet Cassidy at? Around the corner at the barbershop. A lot of stuff, you could just go in the barbershop all day and hear niggas. But that's the moral to the story. If you got writer's block, just go out there and live a little bit. Just go out there and live. It may not be at the suburb mall. So like F said, you got to find out. You got to do that deep dive into when was I writing my dopest rhymes? Okay, who was I around? Where was I at? Where was I with? And try to figure those things out so that you can get back to that place to be able to write those dope rhymes again. Dope conversation. That may need to be a whole show right there. Porsche, do you have anything left? I know you said 3. Okay.
Yeah, I only have 3.
The things I got left real quick, I got Mobb Deep opening the door for CNN. I felt like once Mobb came, that whole 2 MCs from Queens thing, just like, and Noriega says it all the time, having Styles was just on. He was like, yo, if it wasn't for Mobb Deep, there is no CNN. I said every rapper post 2000 who doesn't sell drugs, they owe Kanye some money. I don't know if Kanye has enough. So, but the Chance the Rappers, the Drakes, the Kid Cudis, the Coles, the Kendricks, up until Kanye, you had to sell drugs. So if you're not selling drugs post 2000, you need to thank Kanye West. Every rapper from Compton needs to thank NWA, because when Straight Outta Compton dropped in '88, I didn't even know what Compton was. But I swear to you, a year later, every day on BET Rhapsody, there'd be another rapper with a Raiders jersey and a Raiders hat talking about Compton. Every rapper who had the Iggy style needs to thank Das, Fushnikins, especially that first video of them rhyming in the damn Chinese takeout box in the middle of space. All of that shit. The Flatliners and every hardcore group need to thank the Gravediggers. Anybody from Shaolin need to thank the Wu. The Fugees need to thank Diggable Planets, because that's what the industry was looking for. We need a group with 1 girl, 2 guys, and come the Fugees. Kev Brown, High Tech, and every producer who does not do their drums on pattern owes it to Dilla. And all of drumless hip hop of this time, I'm going to say of the last 10 to 12 years, owes Rock Marcy a check. That is Griselda included, because when I first heard Reject 2, I was like 3 songs in, I was like, this is very Rock Marcy-ish. And then on Rex Ryan, Rock Marcy is on the song with him. But I think the thing that Rock Marcy is an acquired taste. I know some people who don't like Rock Marcy at all, call him trash. I love Rock Marcy. I think where Griselda came in and took that and ran with it, it was a drumless hip hop, but they were 2 dope MCs that most people fucked with. I think rock is dope. Not everybody does. I got Miss Jones and every chick singing over hip hop beats. Needs to thank Mary J for that. And again, the whole Chris Brown Usher thing. You know, Chris Brown owes everything to Usher for taking that time off for whatever reason. Rel, you got any of them left, brother?
I had two. One, it goes back to Jay-Z again. Signing all of those Philly rappers, I think did something very positive for his career. For one, it gave him like backup. Like they were like shooters. They were dissing everybody, you know what I'm saying? And then it gave him, not that he needed necessarily street cred, but the music he was making, some of us was like, we don't want to, you know what I'm saying? We don't want to hear that. And they kind of bought like Beans and all, they kind of bought the streets back to Jay-Z. And then I agree with this, that he kind of took Chris's flow.
Oh no, he took it.
Yeah,
he took it.
And it worked well for him. You know what I'm saying? And that time, that was a time. During that time, that was crazy. You know what I'm saying? And that him signing all of them and having them like that really helped his career. It helped theirs, but it really helped his, to be honest with you.
And it really did open a lot of doors for Philly, because there was a time when everybody, it's just like with white rappers. When Dre had Eminem, then everybody, you know, Timbaland needed Bubba Sparks, and everybody was getting a white rapper. It seemed like after Cassidy, everybody wanted a Philly MC on their squad, you know? And I just think it was dope that, like you said, for Jay to need that backup, because Jadakiss has said this. He was like, yo, I've been around the world. Philly got the best rappers. Philly got the best spitters. You know what I mean? So the fact that Jay came to Philly, that nigga didn't go to Brooklyn. He didn't go to Marcy. He didn't go to Queens to get spitters. That nigga came to Philly and just signed every fucking body.
And it's crazy. It's crazy. He wanted Dutch and Spade before he got Chris and all that. He wanted Dutch and Spade, which is crazy. So it tells you it was a concerted effort. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Getting all those dudes from Philly, and they helped each other, because it did put Philly on the map. Like everybody wanted
from that Hot 97 thing. For Jay to come up here and just be like, y'all spit, like I ain't even up here to rhyme. Now here's the thing, I gotta find this documentary on Jay-Z. I thought it was bootleg, but it's legit people in there. Jay just reminds me so much of Marlo. Again, because what Marlo would do was Marlo would get with you. Kind of, I call Marlo almost like, what's Shorty's name on Mystique on the X-Men, the blue chick, because like she could touch you and take what she needs, and then when she's done with you, she's done with you. You don't see Jay with too many people he came in with. You know, he got with Jazz, got what he needed from Jazz, left. Got with Dame, got what he needed from Dame, left. Got with this person, took what he needed from that person, left. Like you, besides Tata, I don't know anybody who really. And somebody could say, "Well, Kel, you know how money is, niggas get." I'm just saying that like Jay needed state property, got what he needed, and then what happened? He got rid of him. It's like Marlo, he needed the plug from Prop Joe, he got it, he got rid of him. Like that's what Jay does. He got what he needed from Swiss, then he stopped fucking with Swiss. You know what I mean? So. That's what Jay is to me, but that's a great pick with them Philly boys, man. Eddie, you got anybody else left?
I got one last.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I got one last one. My fault. I got all the boy groups after New Edition. The New Kids on the Blocks and I think all that is New Edition. I think all that is New Edition. You know what I'm saying? So that's it for me.
And then you can take even all the kid groups. The youngsters, the illegal, like, you know, I forgot who was Criss Cross first? I forgot who was the first like hip hop kid group, but
probably Criss Cross.
It was Criss Cross.
Nah, I would say ABC. If anybody,
it might have been ABC was before.
ABC came out before Criss Cross.
But I don't know. I suck with dates now. The youngsters'
first song was
this is a little something for the youngsters.
They were really young when that came. I don't know. That's a good question. Question.
I would say ABC because that was 90.
Yeah, I love the fact that Illegal came in there and cut all that nut shit out and was like, "Yo, Illegal came and chopped off
little niggas with no parents."
Yep.
one
looking like a baby Tretch and one looking like a baby Redman, and it was just on and to this day, that I gets busy, still bangs to this day.
I still got that somewhere in one of these boxes, man.
And Jamal, Phase Them All. Phase Them All by Jamal is one of my favorite songs. Bro.
And the Pete Rock remix of that? Good Lord, man. Don't even get me started. Eddie, what you got left, good brother?
Yo, like, all West Coast alternative hip hop is like owes a debt to like Soldier Mischief and Hyro, you know what I mean? Like that whole camp, like, cause you know what I mean, they changed the whole perspective of the West Coast. Like, even though, you know, the Bay Area had their own sound, but you know, it wasn't like that, you know what I mean? And they had their own thing, even if you want to say, you know, they somewhat like resemble East Coast, but if you really listen, kind of didn't, you know what I mean? They had their own flows,
they had their own thing, they had
their own style. Exactly.
I never thought it was East Coast.
I think the problem with that with me was the production, because I know when I first heard Souls, I didn't think they were from Cali. When I heard the Alcoholics, I didn't think they were from Cali. When I first heard Cypress Hill, I thought they were from Cypress Hill, Brooklyn.
Exactly.
It's so crazy. I think that's another point is Cali is so fucking big. It's a whole like the north and south, and then the north and the south is like from like New York to Atlanta. There's so much space. So you're gonna have so many different variants of sound, and like I feel like some West Coast MCs don't get enough props. Planet Asia is one. I don't feel like Defar I Hey Ru in his time got enough credit. You know what I mean? There was a lot of like nasty just spitters. Not even like they on some East Coast shit. They were just spitters.
Yeah, and again, not from the rhymes, but just from the production. Because at that time, the West Coast had a certain kind of beat. You know, so when I first heard the Alcoholics, when I heard Only When I'm Drunk, they rhyming over the doom, the old EPMD joint. I'm not thinking these niggas from the West Coast. Now, of course, once I start listening to the rhymes, then you can hear like the accents and things like that. Or when I heard 93 Till Infinity, that doesn't sound like a West Coast beat. Like when I was over in LA with Vern and Ray, I was asking them like, how did y'all feel as West Coast niggas when you heard the Alcoholics? Because they didn't necessarily sound like West Coast rappers. You know what I mean?
They didn't sound LA. Yeah,
they didn't sound like they were from LA. You know what I mean? But
Cypress beats, I did not get West Coast from them beats.
I didn't know the West Coast until
they had like Bomb Squad-ish type beats. I was
Bugs was in a bag over there. And it was like I said, I was like, oh, they from Brooklyn. They from Cypress Hill in Brooklyn. Like, I had no idea they was from Cali. You got anybody else, Eddie?
No, that's it.
All right, Ab, you wiped out? All right, no doubt. What are we gonna do? We gotta get another one of these joints popping. So what's the scenario? We gotta get another episode of this going right here. I know I keep saying that we are gonna get this going. Very dope, very, very dope game. So what's the scenario? Dope card game. Go to SoWhatGames.com. Put in the promo code Apartment5B. You will get free shipping. Very dope game. I have no idea how me and Rel have not won this game. JR has won more games of this, which is a damn travesty to hip hop. That the R&B dude has won this game multiple times. But we're gonna do this game during the day because I'm kidnapping all of you until I win. So we are gonna be playing this game all day long. So definitely check this out. Porsche, what you listening to this week?
Honestly, I'm listening to. I just downloaded. If Cocaine Could Talk 7, RJ Payne's new album that dropped on Monday. Okay. And Amir has been putting out literally like every day he's been putting out a Lucy, and it's a freestyle and it's dope as hell. So I keep reposting them. Those are in my like steady rotation. It's been all week. So yeah, you guys should check it out. Amir drops those on his Instagram, and I shouldn't really be plugging Amir when he's not here, but definitely you want to check it out. His stuff is so good.
All right, no doubt. Ro, what you been banging this week?
Me, somebody made a post about OC, so I went back and I've been listening to all the OC albums, even the one with Apollo Brown. And yeah, so I've been listening to OC. First two albums are 5 mics to me, and that's a rare feat for somebody to come out with 2 straight 5 mic albums. But yeah, I've been listening to a lot of older stuff. So I was listening to OC on the plane. You know what I'm saying? Coming from Florida.
All right, no doubt. Eddie, what you been banging this week?
Yo, man, like King's Disease 2 has not left my car like all week. Like I just been running it back, like I keep discovering something new. Like and when Nas was on that joint, damn, like he was. All I'm saying, man, he was inspired, man.
All right, no doubt. Ed, what you banging?
None. You know what, man? I wanted to go back into my my CD crate. And you know, you always have CDs that never made it, the albums never made it to the industry or the labels. So I've been digging in, man, on some like real back in the day shit. I've been listening to some unreleased Bob shit that I had. Okay. So I'm just digging around, man. I'm all over the place right now. But if it's like from the '90s and it's on CD, yeah, I'm probably playing it.
All right, no doubt. Rack, what you got?
Banging Magic early in the week, and then I was listening to the Conway joint. I don't know how I feel.
What you think of the Conway?
I'm not. Yeah, I like the earlier Conway to where like 100 niggas died in the album. I don't like this new Conway. Now I will say I appreciate Jill spitting on this album. I appreciate that because it baffles me that it took this long for somebody to be like, Jill, we need some bars. Like that baffles me absolutely. So I appreciate that, but three mics.
Nah, I feel you. I'm kind of teetering on that. I thought the Conway would stay there. And again, this is the part we kind of did a show about, you know, because it's like, and I'm kind of worried with Pusha because he had said something like, yo, don't expect all drug raps. You know, I'm growing up, and I'm like, like, no, don't grow up, nigga. Like, no, don't do that.
I need all drug raps.
Yeah, don't do that, nigga. Like, yo, you need to do a guru then do a jazzmatazz when you do something else over here. But when you push a T, nigga, all we want to hear is drugs shit. That's it, you know. And the sad part with Conway is I'm sure Conway feels like, yo, I want to talk about something else, and it's like, that's cool, nigga, but you just gotta understand, bro, like this is what we love you for. And I know the artists will get on the fans like, you won't let me grow. And I've always told people Outkast is a perfect example. You can grow all you want as long as you just still make dope music. You know what I mean? Like, and artists love to get just production wise on this album, it isn't it for me. Like just from the door.
I need drums.
Yeah. So that's the problem with that. I'm banging this Ghetto Gods joint, the Earth Gang joint right there. And then I'm also banging, man, this new Jasmine Sullivan, man, the Hotels, but she got it's the extended version. Oh man, it's some bangers on here. So I don't know how this joint she got called BPW. Man, listen, Jazz's pen game may be the best pen in the game R&B wise for the last 25 years, man. Her pen game is just crazy to me. And where is she from? Philadelphia. So, Eddie, give them everything, good brother. Where can they get at you, man?
Yeah, man. So on Twitter at EddieD80, Instagram freestyles, freestyles.com. Yo, man, always, posting new stuff, man. Sometimes I'll take my time with it, man. You know what I mean? But I'm trying to go quantity or quality over quantity, whatever. But I got some new things coming. I was actually linking with Chaden, working on a little something with Chaden.
He'll be here the end of the month.
Yeah. So that's interesting, man. Like really, really creative, man. Chaden's super creative, man. So
yeah. All right, be here the end of the month. We got plans.
Ev, tell them all about Profit, good brother.
We're working on it's a multi-tiered thing. There's a film, there's a theater performance, there's a book. Right now it's entitled Profit. We're looking at the journey of the MC. Also talking about the art form of the MC and making sure that people respects it and sees it as an art form. So that happens the fall. Everything premieres the fall of this year. The book and there's a vinyl album coming out too. That'll probably come out later on in the year. But that's what that is. My Twitter stuff is Mental151. Instagram is Ev Assis. And also I gotta put this out there too. For the Profit thing, There is a very important part that we're doing that is community involvement kind of stuff, and you will see your brother Kill 889 in various locations, doing what he does.
I'm going on the fucking road, y'all. Evan's taking me on the road, man. I'm about to be on the war tour out here.
Yeah.
With Ev, my man.
Yeah, exactly. With Ev, my man. DJ Rec One, let them know where they can get at you, good brother.
Oh man. So you can follow me on Twitter, right here. Y'all can see it. It's down there somewhere. At DJ Rec One. Instagram is DJ Rec 1NE. Mixes are on mixshowradio.com and K102 Tennessee Radio. I do the throwback mixes for those two stations. I'm adding all my mixes to Mixcloud. My Mixcloud, you can reach me on there at DJ Rec 1NE. The mixes will be up by the weekend.
And let me just tell everybody out there, if you haven't heard of DJ Rec One mixtape, that's where you're lost in the infamous words of Souls of Mischief. Y'all see how many records are behind me. Y'all not seeing all the records throughout the rest of the house. The first time I linked with Rec, he sent me a mixtape and was like, yo, you got time to check this out. And like 5 songs in, I was like, yo, I ain't heard this song. I got every goddamn thing. Like literally, if you come to my crib, my hard drive, niggas come to my crib with their hard drives to copy my hard drive. So for him to play 3 or 4 songs that I ain't heard in forever, I was like, nigga, I think that's how you start coming on the show. I think I was like, yo, you gotta come on the show.
I asked for your opinion because I just started getting back in the mix and I didn't have a space for my stuff. Wife moved to Houston, so I used Chase's room and started my mixtapes back up.
Yeah, and that's how we linked up. So just to tell you, that's how crazy his mixes are. So you definitely got to check that out. Rel, let them know where they can get at you, good brother.
Uptown Rel 215 on Twitter. JBen215 Uptown Rel 215 on the gram.
I'm about to say you had to switch it, right?
On the ground, yeah, I had to switch it. And JBen215 on Twitter. And man, hopefully, you know, with the COVID restrictions loosening, yes. I'm trying to get out there, man. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully I can get up and I can meet some of y'all in person. You know what I'm saying?
Worry, that's
hopefully,
happening. P gonna make that work.
Yeah.
And here's the wild part. Are you ready to let the cat out the bag with what you working on? Or are you still keeping that under wraps?
No, we let it out.
So Rel's rhyming again. So in a hot minute ain't gonna be nothing for he gonna be over here in the lab. So
say less, my brother.
Yeah,
say less.
Yo, I got inspired. I ain't wrote a rhyme in about 5 years, but like Ed was saying, like what fuels you and what inspires you, and I got that feeling back again. So I just been writing. I'm working on a little something, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's coming soon. Yeah, send that coming soon. So
yeah.
And since Rec is walking around throwing up MPs and yo, Jesus Christ, man, you've been fucking around with the machine so light. I'm like,
that thing heavy.
Good Lord, I ain't picked this thing up in years. But whenever Porsche decides, yo, this shit is heavy as. Whenever Porsche decides she wants to make beats, this has been sitting here waiting for her. So whenever all she gotta do is get the jump drive fixed. She's got an MP 2000 XL waiting for her.
Got some vinyl for
whenever she's ready. So
got some vinyl for you, P. Come on.
Oh,
nice.
Come on, P.
Yo, I remember when I first got this, I was like, yo, I'm coming from the ASR. Yeah, and y'all know how heavy. If y'all don't know, the ASR is heavy. It's now Eb got to pull out his.
No, I'm just saying, look how wide that shit is.
Yeah, like if I picked up my machine, but it's on right now, bro. But Ab, here's the thing: coming from the ASR 10, I thought this was so portable. I was like, yo, I could make beats right here on my lap. Like, bro, this thing heavy as hell. So Porsche, whenever you ready to rock, Porsche, let them know where they can get at you.
On Twitter at Cherchez La Porsche, and we do Twitter Spaces on Monday nights at 6:15 Pacific Standard Time and 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On Twitter Spaces.
All right, and y'all already know this with me, Kill 889 Twitter, IG, willmakebeatsfood.com. Rel, I gotta know what you wearing today. Sneakers, what you got?
Oh man, I took them off. I got on a pair of Dunks. I got on a pair of Dunks that yeah.
Today was brought to you by my gym red ones. I love these joints. God, man, I love these joints right here. Just a beautiful pair of ones. Anybody out there, birthday is coming up. All of you viewers out there, so you know, love ones.
Mine is Tuesday. Mine is Tuesday, by the way.
Oh, there you go. There you go. We're gonna make that happen.
Mine is in 3 weeks.
All right, no doubt. Y'all already know what it is. I will check y'all next week, y'all.
Yeah, guys.